Let me see if we are live. Should be, but I always have to double check. Let's see. I think we're good to go, though. All right. All right, so what we've been seeing today, guys, is some absolute crazy buffoonery. That's literally the best way I can describe what's exactly going on in the crypto market right now, with absolutely crazy short liquidations, and oh my days, look at what's going on Hyperliquid right now. Everybody seems to be getting wrecked right now because of the crazy, absolutely massive volatility, mostly it being shorts getting wrecked. Now, as you may already know from the stream I did yesterday, I basically put up this little prediction as to where Bitcoin was going to go, right? And I've not touched anything from yesterday's stream. If you want to, look back at the stream from yesterday and enjoy, because for just a second, please take a look at the level that Bitcoin hit and the level my AI inserted into the chart. Now, you can't tell me this isn't freaking funny, right? We did not talk about $80,000 as the most important psychological barrier. No, we talked about the April high / supply shelf at roughly $79.48,000, right? And take a look at the highest point we hit today, $79.5,000 instead of $80,000 like most people I saw out there were talking about. And actually, little fun fact. No, I'll keep that fun fact for a bit later down the line, as the stream hopefully has a little bit of time left to go. But right now, we're back in the deciding zone, let's call it, where Bitcoin, of course, has the probability to bounce off of these $76,000 March swing highs, or potentially come back for a retest in the supply zone. In my own opinion, all of this is really fine here. Nothing really to worry about whatsoever. Let's quickly scroll back because of the massive short liquidations that we've seen. And that basically means that every single pump here is supported a lot more, or rather every single downturn has a lot less support logically as well, because there's nobody left to short. I mean, take a look at the numbers right now. This is again over a yearly perspective, but we can go a bit lower here, over 6 months, for example. If we take a look at liquidity, actually on both sides, I think it becomes, or it paints a really interesting picture here. Give it a little second to load on in. For some reason, this platform is not the quickest recently. But as you take a look, yes, there is some massive liquidation leverage, or at least was, but let's just say at the $77,000 mark. And right now, we're a little bit below it. The majority of the real liquidity lies below us at $62,000. But here's the kicker. We have got almost no way to get ourselves to $62,000 here. It's too much of a move. Right? There's just too much in the middle where nobody wants to take that trade. Nobody wants to take out this liquidity at 62,000, as I really just believe a lot of people have entered their longs right before the massive push with their stop losses around, just below, perhaps around no, that's too far away. I'm going to say right around the 61,000 level mark, opening it up at 62.5. And also, on average, a lot of people have entered in this period when the market was at its worst, logically. Then again, the point's still standing that as of this point, as you can see towards the upside, right, there's almost nothing really going on. Funnily enough, it's actually, Bitcoin, a pretty illiquid market, mostly because of the liquidity sweep we saw back in October and the secondary, but now in this case, positive liquidity sweep that we've seen mostly from the shorts. A lot of you are not realizing how record-breaking these numbers are. In my entire time in crypto, I think it has only happened once that we saw short liquidations totaling like $5 billion in 3 days. It's just unprecedented. Even if I look at the all-time data here, just give it a second to load on in as well. As you can see, scrolling through, the only time when something kind of relevant happened is all the way back here when the massive liquidation spree happened, but that was 2.46 billion. If we take a look at this, this was 2.73 billion. All right, the short liquidations that we have seen over the past 72 hours are higher than we saw on the biggest crypto liquidity sweep ever But that, of course, is mostly a long sweep, but just the point still stands. And if we scroll through, there are some big days in here. Would be like 500 million. 1 billion here, not even, would be the biggest we've seen all year. And this is, again, going back all the way since the beginning of 2025. And so, yes, sure, maybe in 2020, when the market started picking back up, maybe in 2021, there were some higher ones. But as you can see throughout this entire journey here, at least, let's go a bit further, right? Let's go a bit further. If I keep scrolling here towards all the way back in 2021, I can't find one. I can't find a single time, not even one single time, where the liquidity was as high, or sorry, the short liquidations were as high as what we're seeing right now. But maybe there was one and it was just not properly tracked. Oh, it's updating. Why do these things always decide to update exactly when you're doing something? Not 100% sure about that part. But yeah, as it currently stands, let's get back to the topic at hand. Bitcoin at $76,000. I just made a little stream dashboard for myself here. Say this on air. It says, abounds inside a drawdown. Bitcoin is still 39% below the October 2025 record, about 126,000. A 20% week does not change that, which is what we've seen right now. But on the opposite side, I still find it peculiar that Bitcoin is going so absolutely nuts right now. But the Bitcoin, or actually the altcoin index, is still only at 38. And so what we've seen is that only 18 out of the 48 top 50 coins beat Bitcoin over the past 30 days. And this is actually really characteristic for an altcoin season, for a bull market, is that Bitcoin is actually one of the strongest players. And then once it shifts, that number shifts, that's when the altcoin season, let's call it, takes off. Now, a couple of highlights here. Coins up 100% in a month, give it back within a week, not within 3 days. 60 coin universe 2017 and 2026. A coin whose trailing 30-day gain is 100% or more underperforms the market's typical week by 2.96 points over the next 7 days. The 3-day version does not survive, P 0.87. So the give back, do I have a little system to go and click through them? I don't. I did not code that in just quite yet. All right. All right. The cycle keeps time in dates, not price. And actually on that note, I did have a nice little overview of what I kind of thought was going on. And this is what I covered yesterday, right? I basically said that as it currently stands, we are going a bit too fast. We are seeing Bitcoin prices go too high too fast. Matter of fact, we are about 97 days too early for the low that came in, as we expected Q4 of this year to go absolutely insane, but it happened already in June. That's actually where we saw ourselves the low. And today we are already a bit further than that, as soon we're going to be 2 months away from the low. But in comparison to what happens in previous cycles, it's still a bit odd. Now, I will add quickly, if I can find that line, I will add that every single top to new all-time high break has actually been shorter and shorter every single time. So if we take the 2013 top and the next top that came in 2017, it was a 1,200 days almost, something of that sort. Absolutely staggering, right? And then the next 2017 top towards the November 2020 top took about 1,080 days. So already 100 days shorter, but still, even though crypto was popular back then, crypto really didn't get super popular until the next season. My favorite season has to be the 2017 cycle, but still, for most people, it was 2021. Or for a lot of people, 2024, 2025. Regardless, that 2021 top towards the new top took 850 days. But that is, again, not the top of the cycle. It's before breaking the all-time high. And there's, again, some debatable parts about that, because when I look at the numbers myself, there is a bit more you can play around with. But let's just say we take a look at these numbers. It's just deteriorating or decreasing, really. The 2025 top has been 318 days since we hit that, so almost a year or so. This is, again, the mark where we should probably have found the bottom, or at least are hitting off of that bottom. Now, the thing is, even though the market's moving great, there is still a bit of leeway to have one further down. I'm just being honest with you here. We're not completely in the clear just quite yet. And here it says, the cycle keeps time in dates, not price. 27th of September to 18th October. Across the last 3 completed cycles, the intervals barely move. Top to bottom, halving to top. All these dates are usually quite the same. That's why we often like to look at the cyclical nature of it all. 2 of these clocks were fixed on 2022 data and called the top out of sample. The lowest close so far. I have it still on my left, I guess, on the left screen, but doesn't really matter. The next one is 2 catalysts, and one of them has a date. Treasury doubled its bond buyback program. This is the main catalyst, I'd say, of the crypto market pumping, right? These 2 things, but let's just call it 3 things here together. This is huge. If you're wondering what is causing the crypto market to pump right now, it is these 3 parts. And if you guys want, every single time, oh, it says press space to go to the next segment. Ah, Dusty, come on now. Oh, and I can just press numbers. Oh, my bad, guys. All right, so we can stick here. So we have covered already. Oh, by the way, sorry, I forgot to interact with the chat here real quick. Let me see what you guys are saying. All right, so we got. Let me see. Let me open up the chat in a different manner real quick. If you guys are watching the stream right now, just say something real quick. Just say hello. Just quickly. Because I think we got some comments in there already. But let me pop it out real quick. There we go. So, Bobby says, what is the emergency? Well, Bitcoin, as it currently stands, is facing the most important resistance. But I want to tell you guys, this is that make or break moment. This is the time where the altcoin season now gets either confirmed and goes absolutely nuts, or we break down and we just go back to the slums which we've been at for a while. I want you to understand that this is that moment, because right now the most important resistance has been hit. Not $80,000, but close to it. And you can understand as well how things right now are going to get really freaking serious. In my opinion, things are looking too clean. It's going to be a clean break, and most likely, just like I predicted a couple of days ago, it's going to be continued with altcoin gains upon altcoin gains upon altcoin gains. And this is really where the altcoin season, or the bull market, as many of you like to call it, begins. This is really what it seems like. XRP is doing such crazy numbers. Bitcoin is doing such crazy numbers literally right now as we speak. Like, if I look back, remember yesterday this was still at minus 510,000, so we're up $80,000 in the day. There's no data that shows that this is the moment that we refer to. Oh, okay. Well, if I look back at the most important resistance that I personally had, it's actually at 82,000, obviously. But this comes one level before that. In my own opinion, this is, again, an AI-generated chart. Now, you may think, Dusty, isn't that bad? Wouldn't you want it to be manual? No! You want it to be accurate based on actual data. That's, again, what the major funds are using, and every single trading firm that I know right now is using AI for the majority of their backend. I mean, they've done that for a long time, because at the end of the day, it's all algorithms, right? But so, basically, if you deduct the most important price levels via any sort of algorithm, you get way more accurate data, which is also why we were able to mark this top to such a perfect extent, right? The top was $79.5 thousand. We highlighted one of the most important tops, the April high / supply shelf, at $79.485. We're $15 off from the local top right here, which in my opinion is basically perfect, right? It's not exactly, but we're almost basically perfect. And actually, fun fact, if I look, just for fun, maybe I have it open right here. Okay, Take a little step, all right? This is going to be a bit interesting, but this is how I talk with my analyst right here. I hope he's not watching the stream right now. Please be not watching the stream. You're going to hate me. So he always sends me price updates, right? But I was on vacation a little bit. I mean, I'm always on vacation, so don't worry about that. But I was out and about, and he basically he has an interesting way to communicate. I had to blur some words, but it basically just says, cause you're gonna tomorrow. I'm not so sure exactly what that was going about. I say he. Then he asked, how's my trip going? I said, hey, I didn't respond yet. I didn't take a look at it just quite yet. This is like a chat I don't really see. It's usually like for work updates. It's not like an interactive chat, but you know, sometimes it is. And then he sent me, this is August 9th. This is, again, my main analyst. Some of you guys know him as the Terminator, right? He just all of a sudden texts me, BTC at 80K soon, by the way. And then he added a little word afterwards. I hope he's not watching right now, which, you know, sometimes get added in conversation, but I had to blur that real quick. And somebody says, how are you so casually down $500,000? You think this is my first rodeo? You think I'm not used to seeing it like that? All these trades are actually starting to come back up a bit again, which is kind of cool, I guess. This account is now only down. How much are we down? I can't see it from this overview as easily. Normally there's oh, here we go. 190,000, all right? So that's actually doing pretty good. We're making profit, sort of. We're making profit. How much are we up or down here? XRP, every single one of my bots is all of a sudden printing again. Not, of course, in terms of full P&L, but actually in terms of the fact that they're turning back around. This bot is now up $50,000 in the past like day or so. And you can see we're making a ton of profit by the bots just buying and selling, buying and selling. And right now it's a really good spot for it. This bot was at a pretty big loss just now, and all of a sudden it's flipped back around and basically going from $2,500 loss to a $1,200 profit on this. And many of these will soon face a similar sort of situation. It just takes a bit of time, but I've told you 1,000 times, I don't really mind being a patient person. I don't really mind at all. What if I, by the way, just went all in on NVIDIA when I opened this bot? Like, this bot is one of my worst bots ever because trend P&L is nothing. Grid profits is great, but it's been a year. I bought NVIDIA at 168. It's right now 218, and I'm only up 50%. Like, this could have been way greater. Like, the bot actually still worked, but why didn't I put some actual money on NVIDIA? Like, this was the easiest call ever, right? Anyway, that's like a little fun fact right there. A fun little situation right there. But yeah, every single one of the bots is absolutely printed right now, going absolutely nuts. And especially when you take a look at the performance, I just find it really fun to see off of one XRP pump here how greatly it paints a different picture, right? Where just now we were down $90,000 on this. All of a sudden we're down only 50. Still, some may call this stupid. We're doing something bad, right? Well, do not fret. We've been through way worse. And as you can see, just being down $500,000, it's okay in the grand scheme of things. We'll get over it. We'll get over it. Because remember, for all of y'all that don't remember, right, we actually opened this in a pretty good streak. We opened this when the market was hot, and we were almost instantly up $500,000. That's when I cashed out 10% to basically get my margin back, because we opened it, I think, as $500,000 or something like that. And then took $500,000 profit, so I believe like 100%. And then I was like kind of done with it. So I closed 10%, kind of waiting for the next move to potentially do something, with the idea of putting, oh no, I guess this was when the July situation happened, right? When the market was going absolutely insane. And I just realized, you know what? This will take some time, but we'll get back up there. Then all of a sudden, the liquidity sweep happened, so XRP never made a new all-time high. But hey, you know, that's all okay. Right now, we're still down a pretty good penny, but it's just going to be a very patient while. I need $2.33 to be break even. And fun fact, I don't even care about that no more. All I care about is just the market moving up and us finally getting out of these freaking ditches. And by the way, if you're looking for a platform to trade on, you can find one with the link down below to 𝗲𝘁. It's one of the platforms I personally use to trade. It's one of my favorite ones right now because you get some very nice bonuses and actually VIP status just for signing up right now. But take a look at those trading bonuses. You can see a little bit over on the right there. It's a very nice situation that you can get for the next couple of days, right? I made sure to get that done. And like I was saying earlier, I predicted one very important thing. I never claim to be a guru. All we're doing is interpreting the charts, interpreting the news in a certain way that hopefully brings us the best result. And what I basically said was the moment you see an altcoin gain 40% in a day, right? I've been saying this for the past 2 days. That's a very high sign, a very big high likelihood sign that the market can go absolutely crazy. That's the most important sign out of every single thing that I personally wanted to see, right? The number one most important thing that I could sense, that I could pick, was literally that one right there. And again, to give you guys the rundown, what I'm talking about is a 40% gainer, because every single time that happens, it sets a ripple through the entirety of the market that just is not able to be stopped. Some of you guys are saying, or a trader says, look at greed. I don't really think greed is anything too relevant here. I mean, taking a look at RSI or taking a look at the number when the market's in such a spot, I don't think says too much, because we're obviously going up in terms of greed, as people are less likely to sell when the market's in a good uptick. But also, if you take a look at YouTube right now, let me actually, for fun, just do this right here. Let me open it up real quick. All right, what I'm typing in right now is crypto. Can this come on in? If I type in crypto right now, all of a sudden, tech lead is bad. What? All of a sudden, everybody has shifted from making all these videos of they've all these negative videos, all these thoughts, to all of a sudden everybody, especially if you type in something with bullish, everybody making videos about how bullish the market is again. One person here is talking about a rejection. But the majority of people often they switch up again to talking about how bullish the market is and how they've sold everything to buy back in. And the funniest part, holy shit, 75,000 views on this guy? That's absolutely insane. But anyway, as I was trying to say, everybody just switches up when the market shifts up. It happens every single time, and I can name a couple of examples here. I think also, if I'm not mistaken, Carl also made a video. Okay, it's not here. Let me find it. Maybe a stream? No, it's not. Okay, but I was going to say, he just made a video as well talking about him opening a new $3 million trade. And I basically am seeing a lot of people do that exact thing right now. Like, all of a sudden, everybody's talking about the new positions. Everybody's talking about the new thing that they're doing. Everybody's talking about everything. And the long story short about that being, yeah, that's when the market shifts over. That's when all of a sudden greed looks like something crazy. But really, it's not too bad. It is kind of staggering to see, because the reason I'm saying this is kind of interesting is because what we're seeing right now at 72 has also not been seen for the last time. Let's see, 72. When was the last time we hit that? All the way back in May of 2025. But then again, remember, guys, the liquidations that we're seeing right now have never been seen. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching the stream right now, make sure you go ahead and press that like button. We've got about 154 people watching, which is amazing, but we've not got enough likes pressed. I think only 15 or so. If you're joining in right now, you're stopping by to say hi, I appreciate you very much. And I also appreciate if you press that like button, because it doesn't cost you anything. All I think it does is help the stream out ever so slightly. So if you could do that, that would be absolutely greatly appreciated. Just letting you know about that situation. Yeah, and to get back to the idea, if anybody is still not clear as to why the market is moving up right now, let me preface this and put an exact date for when another catalyst could be, right? So, two catalysts, and one of them has a date. Treasury doubled its bond buyback program. We covered this before. This is the main thing that caused the market to hit its first uptick. Gold went up 3 or 4% pretty quickly afterwards. Silver went up like 3 or 4% pretty quickly afterwards. And that is because the Treasury doubled its bond buyback program from $2 to $4 billion. Read as fiscal dominance returning, which is the cleanest bid a debasement trade gets. Because essentially what they're trying to do is get the interest rate lowered, and that is actually, theoretically speaking, perhaps bad for inflation, because obviously inflation could get worse off of that, but better for the markets. At least for most, they'd say that that is better. And then the White House crypto meeting, the 20th of August, we talked about how Trump going into that meeting with such crazy statements all around. Like the things which he's been saying, especially him talking about hyperliquid, are just so huge. And if we quickly scroll back a day or two, I think it's a day or two ago that we had all these most important highlights. Some of the people got really excited that Brad Garlinghouse was there, or that we have the Kraken CEO talking about this, or the Gemini twins here in the back. We also had Mr. Robinhood CEO Vlad. We look forward to working together to expand ownership, build the next generation of capital markets, and ensure America leads the way. And NYSE Chairman Jeff Sprecher, your trade policies of fair trade to bring back jobs and businesses from overseas, your energy dominance policies to fuel the next generation of technology in the United States, your big, beautiful bill that created incentives for investments has led to records that you're hearing about in our stock markets. The record number of IPOs and the record number of business formations. He's obviously not really talking about crypto too much, even though this is kind of like a crypto talk. But long story short is that all these guys, even Paul Atkins, is talking about the next big wave for cryptocurrencies and making sure the U.S. stays on top. And remember, on that note, we have ourselves the Clarity Act closure vote on September 15th. And the most crucial part about that, if I have it open somewhere real quick, is this piece right here. It's going to take 2 minutes, but I think it's worthy of a watch, right? Some of you guys most likely have not seen this yet. Oh, okay, we'll give it a watch. It is 2 minutes, though, so if you guys are not able to sit through that, then I'm sorry, my lad. It's worthy of a watch, so we'll quickly go through it. Let's quickly open this up. Oh, I can see.
Hey, Andrew, good to see you. And yeah, I mean, the big topic of conversation, both at the live session and in the Oval Office.
Okay, let's quickly, for future reference, how loud is that? Should I lower it down a bit? You guys have said before that it's like too much, maybe like this.
Was about clarity. The Clarity Act is coming up for a big vote with the full Senate floor on September 15th, and it represents a lot of bipartisan work. The president was keen to mention that, and thousands of hours from the Senate and the House have gone into getting this to be bipartisan legislation. It's also a good bill for law enforcement to go protect against illicit activity. It's a good bill for the banks. It gives them 13 new powers to go grow their business. And it's good for the crypto companies. And most importantly, it's good for the 50 million or so Americans who own crypto. And so that's the big opportunity we have now to cement all of these changes that everyone's worked on in this administration and make sure it's durable for many decades into the future.
If you were to handicap it at this point, you say it's a winning vote at this point?
I'm pretty optimistic it'll get over 60 votes, and I think both sides got 90% or so of what they want, which, in any deal I've been a part of, that you say yes to that deal. Like any good negotiation, there's a few last-minute things people would want something a little bit more or less, but now it's really good that we have a deadline, September 15th, and I've got to give credit to Leader Thune, who scheduled that. There's a lot of competition for that floor time. There's a lot of competing interests. He would not have scheduled this on September 15th if he didn't think it would pass.
One of the other big issues, and I know you've been spending time and meeting with the SEC, as have been others, about the idea of tokenization, and really the idea of what kind of exemptions the SEC could potentially put in place to encourage innovation, really in the absence of Congress passing any laws.
Yeah, well, you've got to give a lot of credit to Chair Atkins at the SEC and Chair Selig at the CFTC. They have made it very clear that they're going to continue to publish clear guidance and rules under their existing authority, regardless of what happens with the Clarity Act. So I think they're ready to move forward on that. They've actually, even just this week, the SEC put out new rules clarifying for the first time how crypto projects can go raise money that in the markets that are securities. That's something that we've been wanting for many years. I think the SEC is working on now an innovation exemption about how crypto securities could be traded in the U.S., which tokenized equities. Coinbase has been working hard on this, but we've so far only been able to do it offshore outside the U.S. In fact, we're launching our tokenized equities product next week out of Abu Dhabi for non-U.S. But in the U.S., we should be moving in this direction too. Same thing with single stock equity perps. So there's lots of work that these regulators are doing, and they're going to create clarity regardless of what happens with the Clarity Act itself.
So that is a pretty bullish thing, right? And that is, again, the Coinbase CEO talking here about what he thinks is next for the crypto market. And for the most part, what I personally believe is him saying this right now is actually the biggest vouch that we all needed. Because essentially, what this all comes down to, in my own humble opinion, is he's basically saying whatever comes up September 15th, it doesn't really matter. We're bullish. Because if the SEC isn't full on in a positive sense, or let's just say, sorry, let's actually skip the SEC part. I was going to say, if it doesn't fully get through on September 15th, the votes all of a sudden from Senate are not the way they want it to be, because right now there's some last minute changes. First of all, it's kind of weird they scheduled it so quickly. If there was big work to be done and it wasn't probably going to get passed, like why would they make it such a hurry? Because this is a really quick date. But most importantly out of all, this is already so far in. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't actually show you guys that. It's actually this post right here. Basically, the CFTC said, if they don't fully confirm it on that day, screw them. We'll do it. And I'll quickly show you guys this video as well, because it's quite relevant to the matter at hand.
If Clarity continues to stall because of Democrat obstruction, the CFTC will utilize its existing authorities to begin establishing a regime for crypto asset markets. We owe it to the American people to do so. President Trump's promised to deliver a crypto asset market structure, and we will help him deliver on that promise. We will heed President Trump's call to codify a future-proof digital asset market structure that cannot be undone by the crypto haters. To achieve this, I've directed the CFTC staff to begin exploring rules to codify a CFTC market structure for crypto assets using the agency's existing authorities. This could enable current registrants as well as non-registrant crypto exchanges to be designated by the CFTC as a type of DCM known as a crypto asset market and offer crypto asset trading on a leveraged or margin basis subject to purpose-fit rules under the CFTC's regulatory oversight. I've also directed staff to engage with developers of on-chain finance protocols to establish ways in which developers can offer their protocols in a legal and compliant manner in the United States. future-proofing developer protections once and for all. We're going to give clarity its breathing room for a vote. But if the Democrats cannot support a bipartisan work product which reflects compromises from both sides of the aisle and ultimately send a fair version of the bill to the president's desk, then rest assured, I will direct CFTC staff to move swiftly to propose these rules for the industry.
All right. Well, so basically what that was all about, or at least a positive note there, is that even if it doesn't pass the way we want it to pass, I guess it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter because we've got the CFTC already in there saying, you know what, we need this through. And that's, again, in my own humble opinion, because Trump has been such a big pro for it. Nobody wants to not be on this, right? Here we go. Launch. Sorry, let me quickly. Oh, I had a chat box somewhere, but all of a sudden I lost it. I was gonna try to see what you guys are saying, but I lost the chat somewhere in the process. How do I flip this out? All right, not 100% sure. I think there's a way to actually overlay it on top of my screen as well. Let me see if I can quickly do that. Because most of the time, what you guys are saying is freaking hilarious. Today, medium, okay? You guys are doing medium type of works, but it's still, in my opinion, always something funny. Let me quickly see if I can add it here. Is it as a text? Media, maybe? Let's see. Media, perhaps? No. Text, perhaps? Image? Browser? Oh. Let me try this out. All right, let's see. Okay. Okay, type something real quick. Let's see if this works. Every single person, if you're watching this really quickly, just type something. X, YouTube, doesn't matter. Just type something real quick. See if the chat works or not. I just put my best foot forward to try to get this to work, but I need to know if it actually does or not. And to get back to it, somebody said, do you think XRP is having a squeeze here? My friend, have you not seen what's happening with XRP right now? We're up 40% this week. Hey, look at that, lads. I was able to make a chat. Okay. Okay. Now, where do we put it? Maybe over there. I need to work on making sure it's a bit more see-through because this is like awful to look at. I can't really read anything there. Chat settings. Maybe like this. Ah, there we go. I'm so happy. Your emojis don't work though, my friend. It seems that way. Yeah, but to get back to it, XRP, are you not seeing the craziness of the move? Every single time this has happened prior, I let you guys know that, first of all, this is the biggest move for XRP in the week that we've seen ever since July 2025. Since the all-time high was hit for XRP, this is the absolute biggest move confirmed by far. Now, of course, that could still turn around if we end up over the weekend going down all the way. I mean, it's a possibility. It's not a 0% chance. But if we consider what we saw back there, right, all the way back in October of 2024, I've shared 1,000 times now in the last 2 days that every single time the market basically does a move as we're seeing right now, it usually sets through. That's again what happens almost every single time. Because first of all, the moment you see a 40% gainer, that is a very good sign the market's about to hit it big. The moment you see record levels of short liquidations, that's kind of a sign the market's about to hit it big. The moment you start seeing every single person on the internet switch around and say, oh, the bull market's back, that's sometimes when that momentum continues. because mostly it's not going to be shut down with massive shorts that usually come pretty quickly afterwards because they all got wrecked. That's, again, the most bullish and the most interesting factor right here. Now, again, to add to it, we've got the Trump vouch, right? Trump just basically stating that this is the best asset. Okay, didn't say that, but he basically just said that he wants to make sure the U.S. is the crypto capital. All that is adding to a really beautiful picture. And what do you think about Solana and XLM? I just got a notification earlier today. Let me actually open up another TradingView tab. You know what? Fun fact. You know what we could also do, right? This chart is fully made with AI, right? I can actually, what's the best way to do this? I guess the best way perhaps would be to open up this one. Let's open up another tab. I'm going to show you guys. If I open up, for example, a Solana, I think I have Sol installed as well. Solana chart on Binance. Let's see if we've got something in here. I should get rid of the Pine script, but I guess I know it can stay. Doesn't matter. All right, so we can just, I guess, turn the BTC trends off. Here we go. If we take a look at the Solana chart, right? So some of the stuff that I cover on the bottrading.net thing, which, by the way, is not fully public yet. Like, the only thing you can get right now is how to connect your Claude to TradingView, and I tested millions of strategies, out of which 28,000 are like viable ones. Because the thing is, if you're testing out a trading strategy, you can try out 1,000 slight variations and you'll get something that works. That's like completely useless, at least in my opinion, because all you're doing is making sure that whatever was not optimal, you start to fit to be perfectly optimal. That's garbage. And that's why I put here, I tested out 28,000 most likely proper base strategies with millions of variations that don't really matter, because you can, again, curve fit them until they work, and gave a little bit of information on at least some of the strategies that work, or at least why one works, or how to build these trading strategies with the power of AI, because it's such a beautiful thing. That's, again, the first link in the description. But also, by that logic, I should now, on the Solana chart, just be able to go to Claude, which I've not got open, but I can quickly open it up. You know, so what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to type it into my Claude. I have, you know, I can say it out loud as well. I'm just going to talk to my freaking Claude. I have a Solana chart open on my, you know, I'm going to redo it. I have a Sol USDT chart open on my computer right now. Give me an analysis on exactly what's going on, and also let me know in the chat box right here what a good trade may be. All right. And I'll type and I'll say, insert all the most important levels into the chart. All right, so I've given it the command. Let's look back in a couple of minutes here to see what it brings up here for my Sol chart, if it's still loaded in, because sometimes I have to reload TradingView a couple of times. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see that in a couple of minutes right there. Anyway, so there's also the Crypto Quant analysts. You know Crypto Quant, right? This is basically this major analytic platform. They basically put up on their X just now this, the strongest squeeze since November of 2024. This is also my own personal opinion. So the strongest squeeze since November 2024, I'm going to open up the actual tweet itself instead of using a tweet to talk about a tweet. That's like stupid. But Wu Blockchain themselves shared this about it before we cover the tweet itself. Crypto quant analyst Boris said Bitcoin's rally this week was driven primarily by concentrated short liquidations in Binance futures rather than spot buying, which some of you guys in this chat said that's a bad thing, but I personally think it's actually quite good. I personally think this is actually one of the nicest things. Ooh. Sorry, guys. I'm getting a little message on the side here. Wait a minute. Somebody's saying... Okay. So I have a couple of group chats, right, of people. And they're saying there's good... This is just, don't listen to this too much, but they're saying another Trump type of coin is rumored around right now. Not Trump coin itself, right? But like another family member may be launching a coin. These people are never wrong, blah, blah, blah. That's the story. If you're into like the meme coin space, you will always see these type of announcements. And very often they're wrong. Just like how Kanye West was already, people knew already that these people were going to launch coins like weeks or months before, because usually there's a person that knows a person that knows a person, and they're a person who's made millions of dollars with meme coins that could convince one of these guys to launch something because of all the benefits. We saw that with Sahil, and how he was able to convince hundreds of influencers, basically, like, I don't know, even Kim Kardashian, maybe, whatever, to make meme coins. Now, that doesn't really matter for the purpose here. I'm just saying that right now, they're also talking about more coming up. At least one of these people coming up. Okay, it was worthy just to, to quickly take a look at to see exactly what they're saying, but nothing really too relevant, nothing too exact on the dot. It's mostly just speculation, mostly just the same stuff going all around like always. So, but of course, it's worthy of sometimes looking into it to see if they actually have some crazy information or something like that. And again, it's not like I have the craziest of meme coin insiders. I'm not that big a meme coin guy, right? But if somebody saying, no, these guys are never wrong about some sort of new Trump type of thing coming up, I always think it's worth considering and looking into. But that's all I know. That's literally all they've typed. And again, these people type that all the time, so it doesn't really matter. But it's always worthy of considering that, well, perhaps that's actually what they're front running in the markets right now, right? That would be something interesting. And also at the same time, I'm just quickly scrolling through. Wait a minute, what? Wait a minute, what? Goldman Sachs reclaimed its position as the largest disclosed XRP ETF holder with $90 million, $86.5 million across 5 XRP ETFs. What? Wait. Goldman Sachs is the largest XRP ETF holder? What? What am I seeing? Why would that be Goldman Sachs? Anyway, it's being rumored now. I got some more details that it's that it could be an ETH coin. All right. Well, we'll take a look at that, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But you know what? You never know. And by the way, guys, if you watch this stream right now, make sure you go ahead and press that like button. How is the chat in the screen? Because I don't think it's really too obvious, but also it fades really quickly. Do we like it? Do we think it's stupid? What do we think about the chat right there? Right, the chat box that I've made. Do let me know. It's the first time trying out something like that. And I do not have any system to get them to go away quicker. Sorry, to go away less quickly. For some reason, it's going as fast as it can. But it says here 30 seconds. Okay, no, that's actually fine. We can do 1 minute. 1 minute. Hi, chat messages. Size. Maybe I do it like this. All right, let's see. Maybe that's a bit easier. Does this update? All right, let's see. It does not update automatically. Okay. All right, type something again in the chat. This is a bit too large, though. I want it to be like that, but then the text needs to be bigger. All right, we're working towards something, all right? We're working towards something. We're getting there. It's going to take a little bit of a while to perfect the chat, to make sure it's perfectly juicy for every single person out there. And you guys are all finally satisfied with your hunger. But eventually we'll get there. All right, let's see. Maybe like this. Let's try this out. The reason I'm putting so much effort towards it is just because I think it's going to be a long-standing thing. So I hope to make it nice. All right, can you guys read it now or no? Or is it still too small? Also, is there anybody that has a nicer record-breaking number? Is there anybody that has a position that's down more than mine is right now? Please don't say how much it is, just for fun. You think there's anybody in the chat watching right now that's actually how do you call it? Crawl it? No. Wait a minute. English is not Englishing right now. What does a cat freaking do? Like scratch. There we go. Scratching their eyes out right now even more than I am. You think there's somebody out there? We're still down on this one XRP trade, a nice whopping 437,000 US dollars. All right? It's still not in the best of positions, but we're getting over there. We're getting there, piece by piece. All right, let me quickly see. So, Dusty, Goldman Sachs used to be the largest dark pool for XRP, but they then sold that position, and now the post is saying Goldman may have bought it back. I don't know. Ooh. Okay. Okay. How's Claude's chart? Ooh, my friend, you're a good question. Let's see. Let's see if it's already in there. All right, let's see. This is, again, okay, I'll preface this by saying I've never done a sold chart yet. All right, it may need some fine-tuning to know exactly what I want, because all I said, let me quickly see if there's nothing crazy in there. Okay, you guys can see it. All I said was this. I said, I messed up. I have a sold chart open. This is what I read out loud, right? But I said sold by accident because I read it out. Looks through, finds an EMA. It's just looking through a couple of different pieces and things. Really nothing too relevant. Let's see if it also gives an analysis. It does. We can cover that in just a second here. Binance sold to USDT 1 day at $90.97. 3 days ago, SOL was dead flat, grinding $74 to $77 for 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, these days are huge, with the 19th of August being a massive increase in volume, but still kind of shite, to be honest with you. Plus 18% in 3 sessions on sustained 2.5x volume, not a single spike, 3 consecutive high volume expansion days. That's participation, not a wick. The two things that actually matter. It reclaimed a 200 EMA at $88.61. First time since the June collapse, price is at 2.7% above it. That is the single most important line on this chart. It's what separates bear market bounds from trend change. It ate the entire high volume shelf. The $82 to $88 band holds 39% of the last 200 days' volume, and 87 alone has been touched 27 times. More than any other level, price shoots straight through all of it in 3 days and is now sitting above. The catch, though, the relative strength index is really high at 80.9. Whew! And price is 15.6% above its 20 EMA. Now, before we cover a little bit more into that, let's see this chart. Let's see how juicy it is. Because I guess it's done mostly a thought about the previous prices, but it's not really done the expansion realm just quite yet. We need to see the levels a bit further out. And also, usually you specify the time frame and such. But let's see. So, the most important levels that it mapped out obviously come from, ooh, wait a minute. May lower high, all right, is that the May 2020? Yeah, okay. These are the most important levels from recently and probably also some older ones. And again, I have to specify that I basically want things to be tested, battle tested over the past couple of years, multiple different time frames inserted, and for it to be an expanding type of thing. Because right now, what it's mapping is basically every single price within our bound, which ends at roughly $100. But that's also, if you look back at it, most of the recent history in terms of price, right? And right now, we've literally, for Solana, gotten to the most important resistance at roughly $100. It's slightly lower. It's basically the exact same top as we saw back in May 2026. But the next hurdle, the next move, is a pretty big one, perhaps. But let's see. So is there anything which it states about previous prices? Sorry for moving around so much. Let's zoom in a bit and read through. So we've got ourselves the bases. Not really too relevant, but that was actually seen back in June as well at $60 a SOL. We're up 50% from that, right? And the most crucial levels are the, all right, we've got the resistance 1 and the supply zone here at 93.47 to 98.41, which is the March to May distribution zone. Resistance 1 at $93. Oh, wait a minute. We've not actually, oh, so sorry. I was thinking we already hit 898. No, that's the previous one. Okay, so the box was actually in the way, and it looked like this was a wick, right, for a second. Matter of fact, all we've hit right now is resistance 1 at $93.47. All right, today's high at 93.39 plus March pivot, first wall. Somebody says, you're just guessing and talking-ish. This is not my own analysis. All we're doing is bringing the AI into it because somebody said, can we do an AI type of analysis on SOL? So this is not something I've prepared for you guys. All we're doing is reading through what the AI came up with. This is just for fun and to show you that it can be pretty accurate because at the end of the day, if I look at any market making firm, any of my friends that's been doing this for a long time, at the end of the day, it comes down to their algorithmic models. And so when you're taking a look at, okay, how are we going to make any sort of new model? It basically comes down to calculations, right? Any high frequency trading firm is not doing it with a little Asian man. No, it's a calculated move, all right? It's a calculated move every single time. And people will often like to dub these AI analyses as stupid and useless. Here's the thing. If you are asking your AI to make a profitable crypto trading strategy, you're most likely going to lose for right now because you're not sure what to do. But every single fund is using it. They've been using it for a longer time than we know. And every single one of the high frequency trading firms, but even just trading firms in general, is using AI to a very big extent. But more importantly, it's all algorithms. You can't win from the big guys by hand. And the fact that people right now are saying, no, this is all stupid, don't use this, you're going to lose, you just don't know how to use it, which is fine. But hating on it, or saying that I'm not sure what I'm talking about, at the end of the day, to some extent, you don't need to know by just reading through what the analysis actually is, because it can literally look through the price data and realize the most important levels that are not psychologically manipulatable, if you get my drift. As in, I can sometimes look at a chart and have a different interpretation. That's not something that's necessary anymore when you have the power of actual data, all right? Because it can just fundamentally look at all the most important numbers that sometimes we may mess up at. And so basically an interpretation would have to take a little bit more time because, again, remember, when the AI is doing an interpretation of it, it's less nice than you doing it yourself because some of the conclusions that it draws are not perfect yet. On my actual other, on the Macs, basically, it's a different structure that I have. The analysis is significantly better, and usually I send them over to this device if we make some of these HTMLs, for example, right, or some of the overviews of our analysis. This one is just like a fresh clod almost. There's only a very little amount of data that it's been trained on. But obviously, this is something I've been working on for the past year, every single day, on how to get AI to make you proper trading strategies, and it's worked pretty nicely. So if you're saying, no, Dusty, it can't be done, you just don't know how to, and that's like cope. That's what I'm going to call it. Anyway, take a look at this, right? S3, support 3, $85, POC, 15.6% of all volume at that point. Isn't that crazy? Like, how long does it take you to find that out? Well, there's a couple of indicators that showcase volume at specific prices, but this would be so much work to find out ourselves, and this could just not be done in the clip of a freaking finger. Is there any other chart you guys want? Let's see if we can do something fun. Let's do for XRP, I suppose we could do one as well, right? Or is there any other crypto you'd like to do this for? Let's see. Let's ask it to do one for XRP. So, let's see here. Just like how you've done the analysis for Bitcoin and Solana just now, I also want you to do one on the XRP USDT chart I've got open right now. All right. And we'll do XLM right afterwards. Any other coin you guys want? By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for a platform to trade on, the one I personally use the most is Bluefin, which I've linked down below. And if you're wondering why I look towards the left so much, guys, nobody is talking. Like, it's kind of funny. Nobody really. The crypto market is not fully back. Like, all of a sudden, deals are coming back. People are talking about potential run-ups, potential new things. But if we're talking about the real just activity in the market, it's not fully back. Why can I say that? Well, because usually when the market will be in this type of environment, I'd see just YouTube go absolutely crazy, subscribers go nuts, and everybody be excited. The skepticism is still very high, which I partially get, but that shows me that the on-chain data, the liquidation sprees and all this, they're more severe than what is actually all right now being accepted. And so what I mean is, if we're taking a look at these numbers, I told you, this I've never seen before. Like the last couple of days, the short liquidations are something of a fairy tale, just that freaking good. But the acceptance rate from people accepting that this is just how the crypto market can go is very low. So what that potentially may mean is that really the biggest wave from retail may not be here yet, because those mostly also buy spot. This is mostly leverage flushes that we're seeing, but spot is not yet here. Retail is not yet here. And the chat here, it's filled with a lot of people. And I saw some videos on YouTube all of a sudden from some people get 50K views and all that. But really, the major floodgates have yet to open, it seems. Which is an exciting thing, because that may mean that it could be any one of these times right now that all of a sudden it just opens back up. And my personal expectation would be the moment that a coin hit a 40% day. But we've already seen that now. What is going to be that main driving factor when the retail comes back in? Is it going to be from TikToks and stuff? I mean, we're already up 40% on a coin, Athena here. It's up 40% a day. Every single coin here is up positive this week, except for Velvet, it seems. Every other coin, and Sun, but who cares about Sun? Every other coin is positive throughout the week. Huh. What else is doing crazy? Okay, we got Hyperliquid also breaking even more records. How's our Hyperliquid position looking? Okay. I actually, fun fact, I want to add more to my hype. You know that? It may sound crazy, but I kind of believe that Trump is going to push Hyperliquid even further. The only problem is we're already in such a juicy position, I kind of don't want to wreck it. But if I had to pick one coin that I'm most excited about right now, it's like Hype got that Trump vouch. There's just no way that anybody can knock this down anymore, right? At least it doesn't make sense for it. This is one of my nicest coins right now, Hyperliquid. I really just want to go dumb on this one, but unfortunately, it was only a 3x position. So we only put in $40,000, acting as $130,000, and it's only up 55,000, which is nice, 222%. But yeah, it would have been way nicer if this was also one of our 10x's, like we almost always do. And I don't think I have any Ooh, okay, one of the things we could open right now, perhaps, is a Hyperliquid bot. So I've not done the calculations on this for a while, but I could just open a preliminary one and then find it out later. Oh, but it's pumped up so much, though. No way. It's at 77. Okay, that is tough. Let's see. So the range here, they take a 61.643. We kind of want the lower bound to probably be significantly lower, at like 45. Has that ever been hit 45 in the recent history? No. But to be smart, we put 37. So we're going to go at the lower bound. $38 as the lower bound here. That's what it last hit all the way back in May 2026. Yeah, that's lower bound of 34. Let's go for 34 just to be safe here. With expansion possible towards, we can hit a flat $100. How much is that from here? 36%. That's not too much. We can do $100 for right now, or 92 is what it says at the top. That's actually fine. I don't want to put any effort into this. We'll just go 500 for right now, and we'll do. We can do 5,000. Oh, wait, let me quickly move some money around. Okay, I have to quickly move some money around. Transfer. Let's quickly, I'll do it here. I'm just going to quickly open up a Hyperliquid bot. Just because I see I don't have one. And I definitely should have one. And again, don't necessarily follow me, right? Because at the end of the day, right now is a harder spot to open something. But this can last me for a long time anyway. Like, it's not going to get liquidated the way I open it. So it's going to be fine. All right. Just added a little bit of money to it. We can open it with like 5K. at 3x. That should be pretty easy. Liquidation price at 40 though. You know what? Let's open it with $4,000. And then as extra margin, we add the 1,000. Where does that put us at? $34. Yeah, so we can go down about 50%. I'd say that's fine. $2,000. How much did it put us at? 28. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we open one bot right there. There we go. There we go. A hyperliquid bot has been made. This is a high point to open it up at, but again, this is probably going to last me a very long time, and all I'd have to do is just add a bit more margin if the market were to move against us. I just wanted to have some additional high position open, and this is only $12,000, so it's not that big a deal. Right? It's just something that can last me so we can actually benefit, because remember, guys, how these bots work is the more the market moves down, right, the more it's going to buy. And you can see we just now made 4 cents because it's sold once. It's only 3x leverage. It's nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy, because I don't want it to be. But every single time the market moves down, and we open it at 77 even, I should have put a limit order. It's just to prove a point right here. Every single time the market moves down, it's going to be buying hype. And every single time the market moves up, it's going to be selling hype. So if we take a look at transactions, it's only made 2. It's only made 1 buy, and actually made a couple more buys, and then 1 sale. And that's actually, at the end of the day, all it does. And the reason I love it is because that basically means we can buy hype, but mostly actually be involved in taking profit in the volatility. You can see we're down $40, but we made 8 cents. This may sound stupid to some of y'all, but take a look at this over the next couple of hours as potentially the market becomes so volatile. Here, we made 12 cents, right? This is just constantly trading, which is why I love these type of bots as well for example, my XRP. Where is it? XRP. Because even though you can't see it, it's constantly buying and selling all the time. 137 transactions, for which the majority of it is in USDT. You can see here, if we take a look through this, every single time it trades, it makes me $2-ish, 173. It made 134 transactions, meaning this one bot, probably, because the majority of it is going to be sales, some of them are going to be buys, but let's just say half of it is going to be sales. This bot made me $100 just today off of the volatility alone. So it's beautiful, right? At least I always think it is. So yeah, don't copy me necessarily. All I'm doing is just opening up something that can last me throughout the ages. Hyperliquid here is way too high to comfortably get into. But also remember, I have this position open already. So at the end of the day, it's just going to take in from our profit, but it's not like I'm losing much. Because I'm not going to let this hyperliquid trade ever go back below average price. I'd close it all at that point if the market were to go back down. So do not worry. My position here cannot lose anymore. So don't copy what I'm doing. I'm just giving you all a little example. All right, let's see. All right, so you guys are asking. Oh. Modern Creep said, what a name. Modern Creep says, yeah, it will be social media and mainstream news. Probably retail buyers are like lemmings. Okay, well, on that note, there was quite a lot of propaganda, I almost want to call it, of guys like the Coinbase CEO. This was like 2 days ago, I think. Here's a little video of him.
Bitcoin. 20 seconds left. Would you forecast $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of this year?
I think there's a good chance. I don't know exactly what. I think over the next couple years, if I say 2030, I think it's very likely we'll see a $300,000 and $400,000 Bitcoin, and we'll see how it goes.
There's a headline for you.
So a fun fact about that is, first of all, these guys like Brian Armstrong have the best insights on what the Bitcoin price is really going to be doing. But I did believe he did say 2030.
I don't know exactly what. I think over the next couple years, if I say 2030, I think.
So Brian Armstrong said by 2030 he expects 300 to 400,000 of BTC. To some, this may feel like it's not important at all, but let me quickly tell you, this is really quite relevant, mostly because, well, if you take a look at the next week, the next month, you may be wrong, you may not be so accurate, and you may lose. But over a couple of months, a couple of years, it is really hard to do so. Somebody's asking what is happening. We have seen the largest short liquidation spree in history. We believe this is an absolutely massive short squeeze. And I was going to open up the crypto quant piece, but I forgot. Let me quickly take a look at it. I was going to open up the actual tweet itself. Oh, wait a minute, though. Another video here. So I got distracted again, but we can cover this in the midst here real quick. By the way, if you're wondering, Dusty, so how's the hype position you just opened doing? Well, I mean, we're obviously buying the top, so don't expect it to be profitable straight away. We've made 40 cents from trading alone, and we're down on the position as we open it at 77.2, And the price right now is 76.2. So we're down $1. We're down $50 actually in the whole grand scheme of things. But it has already been able to trade 10 times right here. Matter of fact, you can see it's made how many profits? 10 exact profit pieces. Oh, so actually, no, matter of fact, when I look back at this XRP trade, I believe it only counts for this transaction history. I think it only counts the profit takings because the other one might not be a transaction fulfilled as it's still waiting for the sale. So this basically means, I believe, that we took 137 profits of about $1.70, so $200 on this bot alone today. Because I believe here, if we took a look at transactions, it says 11, and we've made 11 profit pieces of 4 cents. Now, again, the number of profit, or sorry, the amount of profit is really quite low. But take a look at this over the next couple of weeks or months, and you'll see how fun this could be. Now, again, you shouldn't necessarily be copying me because price range from $34 to $92. This is again where I'd exit and probably just take the profits from this bot to either keep it alive or switch over. But I realized these positions are a lot less profitable than bots over time if the market goes against you. That's why I sometimes love these things. I just wanted to quickly share what my insights as to these things are and how I open them. It's not really very often a very calculated move. It's just to have some sort of volatility bot going on that we can reap the benefits as the market goes up, but most importantly, reap the benefits from bounces and market moves. But again, right now, the market's in a really scary spot, and there is a good chance that we've seen the top because Bitcoin just hit 80K. But based on what I've just described, we've seen the biggest short squeeze ever, in my opinion, in the last couple of days. There's a good chance this sets through. But as I was covering, what's happening now in gold and crypto should not come as a surprise. If it does come as a surprise, you're likely not following the correct leading indicators. This is the era of U.S. Treasury intervention, elevated inflation, and record deficit spending. Below is a clip of founder 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗓, the founder of 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗓, on Fox Business with CV Payne exactly 37 days ago. As gold fell below $4,000 an ounce, we began calling for a rally to 4,500 as market conditions were clearly shifting. And since then, gold has added 4.5 trillion in market cap, Bitcoin is up 30%, and yields are roughly unchanged. Keep following the leading indicators. Asset owners are the only ones.
Yeah, and I think
let's give this a little bit of a look, huh?
Yeah, and I think, you know, the 10 years back to 4.6. I think rate hike expectations are way too aggressive right now. I think we could end the year without any hikes at all. And on the flip side, you know, gold is starting to find support around 4,000. Right. The dollar has been very strong. I think it's due for a pullback. And if anything less than the extreme hawkishness that's expected by the Fed materializes, I think gold and bonds are going to be very strong. Gold remains strong from a geopolitical and as well as an uncertainty perspective for safe haven investors. And these are some of the most hated assets in the market. Right. You know me, I love buying the hated stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he was right. He was right on the money for it, though. Well, yeah. Anyway, let's quickly see what we've got for XRP here. Again, don't hold this to heart too much. I didn't add or change anything. I didn't give it any instructions. You guys saw the prompt I gave it just now for XRP. All right, so we've got as a resistance one today's high at 143. That's actually a first in a long time that it actually marks today's high as any sort of resistance band. The most important resistances at $1.43, $1.47, which is the March high. We've got the April high at 151, and then it says here the May lower high, macro line in the sand at 155, let's call it, right? Something like that. Then we have ourselves the overhead supply between 143 and 155, basically this entire area, which is a large zone. POC band 134, 143, 47% of the last, basically 3/4 of the year volume at this or within this zone. There's a bit of risk of chopping. And so what it's basically identifying here is that this is a pretty scary area, but because of the Bitcoin backing, because of the short liquidations, I'm a bit more excited about it. And then we just reclaimed the most important resistance back then right now turns to support at $1.34, which is the 200 EMA. Just reclaimed must hold. So if you're looking for the level, I covered yesterday the most important threshold to cover, right? It was basically $1.30 for the June highs and the fair value gap on 4 hour, but it doesn't matter for that part. It was about 129 with 134 as like the higher bound of that. We crossed that all the way throughout the night. And right now we must hold this line for XRP. If all else fails, every other coin doesn't go well. If we hold this line, at least XRP is in such a good spot. Now, of course, we prefer to just overall stay above 129 even, because if we look at the majority of the trading history, a lot of it, I guess, in terms of volume, was within 134 to 143. And again, that can also be pretty easy to spot just from looking at the February to around May or so price action. The majority of the moves happen within this bound. But if we were to stay above 129, that's actually the support that's basically held all throughout the beginning of 2026, right? Around that area, all throughout the majority of 2026. Now, we broke it in June 2nd and in the massive liquidity swoop that we saw once in February as well. This was a really crazy day, but it bounced right back off. But you can see how many times it bounced off of that. This is another very important key level to watch. Now, you may look at this and think, Dusty, so what can you fetch from this? Well, you can fetch, again, objectively, the most important price points in the history. That's, again, one of the most beautiful parts about these AI type of things, that it can fetch them, not just from your opinion, not just from looking at a chart, but by actually analyzing the data, and that's why I love it. Anyway, little update. Dusty, how's your Hyperliquid doing? You just opened it. Oh, but it can't be doing good already, right? Well, we made $1 on grid profits. We are up at about $22 on us buying the freaking top. About 33 profits already taken. And if we go back to XRP, I wonder how that's doing right now. I think if we keep refreshing this, it's going to be funny how many transactions we do. Normally, it does about 33 transactions a day. So this bot passively usually makes about $50, $60 a day, right? But right now, it's doing significantly better numbers. 137, so about $200 or so, maybe a little bit more. About maybe $300 that it's made me from just up, down in price of XRP. But right now, I'm not sure if it's still actually actively buying. Yeah. Wait, what? Wait a minute. XRP is at what price? Holy shit, it's 141? Wait, what? Holy shit. Wait, what? We're getting close to the local high. This is when I was asleep. Because, by the way, my sleep schedule is messed up, all right? Don't ask me. Don't ask me how bad my sleep schedule is right now. Ooh, wait a minute. Do I have an XRP trade open here as well? No, I don't anymore. Oh, that's a sad situation. Can I see my trade history? I want you guys to see. Let's see if you guys can see me losing millions of dollars. If it's still in the history here. Let's see for fun if you can find me. Oh, no, it's too long ago, I suppose, right? Let's see. No, you can't find it right here. I was going to show you one trade that I lost millions of dollars on. Maybe it's only... this is kind of funny. That was a bit of a mistake. Well, I made the biggest mistake of my life, but... No, I can't find it no more. It's sad. I'm even feeling FOMO, guys. Like, this never happens to me. I never get it to a point where I just want to start buying in again into everything and go nuts. Like, I never really have that. But all of a sudden, the market's doing me good. And it's not even about the prices going up. It's about the sentiment shifting. It's about all of a sudden things starting to look good again in this massive short squeeze. Like, I mean, the price is too high for me to really comfortably go crazy again. But from that other angle, damn, things are looking good right now, huh? So, crypto quant analyst, Bitcoin. Maybe we should open up another bot as well, another 3x bot, just so we can look at some green again in the near future, just for fun. Because right now it's all red, and I don't like looking at that. Holy shit, Hemi is also up 42% today. Jesus, let me see this real quick. Oh my days. Oh my days, that's amazing. Yeah, but Hyperliquid was okay. You know what? Let's chill down. Right? What I'm doing right now, I'm getting myself hyped up. This is the scariest part of the cycle, where all of a sudden you start FOMOing into things, right? We had a good entry a couple of hours ago, really beautiful throughout the night. And right now I almost want to FOMO buy into everything and go crazy. Holy shit. But this is the first time in so long, freaking long, that we finally have some good showing again. It's the first time of the year, but it's a bit too good. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy to open up positions again and get wrecked tomorrow. We had such a beautiful, but I guess we already have so many positions open. But guys, the market is so crazy right now. I don't know why nobody's talking about this. Everybody seems to still be back in bearish mode. They seem to think that no, because what? Everything is going nuts all day, every day. Like, what is this? We're up $100,000 on this XRP position in like a day or so. Jesus. What's going on? You know what's the funniest part of this all is? That this happens every single time from two parts. So if you've been in the markets for a while, and especially if you've been watching the videos for a long time, you know that my portfolio can swing by a ton all the time, right? But here's two pieces. One, if I take a look at every single XRP run prior, you know that every single time the market starts going up, just like back here, you know that every single person always texts me, Dusty, you're a freaking dumbass for buying into this hype. Because the $500,000 profit on the XP trade we made by buying into this candle like a maniac. We bought in the dollar support like crazy, and people called me a freaking dumbass because they do so every single time. But what I like for XRP is to just get, well, if you look at the daily, we actually already got almost everything we wanted, right? We got ourselves the confirmations that we wanted. Look at the way that XRP is performing right now. It's just a bit scary because it's been such a long while since this happened. But historically, we really like to buy into these, but we got really, I shouldn't say that word. We got really baited out at the end of last year. But back then, liquidity wasn't as great. Right now, we got the liquidity sweep, right? It took away all the shorts. It's just the first time. There's a very good chance the best is yet to come and that the altcoin season, the bull market's right back. But from the numbers, it should be Q4. I don't want to jump the gun too quickly. Like, a lot of signs are showcasing that this should be it, but it's just a bit too early. And it's going too fast, too quickly, too fast. Anyway, where are you guys all watching from today? What have you got in the chat box? What are the various different countries we've got people watching from today? And I'll be streaming every single day. I said that 2 days ago. I'll be streaming every single day for a while. So if you've not yet done so, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'll be here every single day. Supervid says, can't make panic decisions when we've been buying all year. You know, the truth to that is, all right, I can see it in the chat right there. The truth is, you're right. But there's two main ways of investing, right? By the way, guys, can you see this chat properly, or is it too big, too small? What do we think about this chat? Should I leave it, or is it interfering with the charts and you guys don't like it at all? The reason I added it is because I think it's kind of nice. I think it's kind of nice for you guys to be able to see the chat without me having to insert it every single time. And you guys can see your own names like that, but maybe you guys think it's stupid. We've got, let's start from the top here. I'll talk about the two main methods of investing in a second. We've got Slovakia, we've got Central Valley, California, Australia, maybe Central Valley is Central Valley in California or Canada? I don't know what CA means in that sense. Australia, we got Canada, we got US, we got Netherlands, lekker Dirk, welkom. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, UK, Chattanooga. Nah, that's got to be a meme, right? That's not a real name. Tennessee, Chattanooga. Are you joking me right there? USA, Sweden. We got England, my man. We got Oklahoma, Arkansas, England, right coast. Nashville, all right. Looks good to me. Antarctica, all right, very nice. Don't believe that, but sure. And chat is good. Thank you, Edgar, for letting me know. All right, so as we were trying to state, there are two main methods of investing. And I adhere mostly to the first, which is the momentum investing versus value investing. Momentum investing is you see a trend. You see the market moving a certain direction, and you, instead of basically, let me just show it like this. Instead of you going away, you know what? I'll draw it in a perfect manner. Momentum investing is basically you see a certain sign. Like, for example, in this instance here, you see that the market's making some sort of reversal, and you get the confirmation accordingly, right? And because you see this sign right there, you see this part, you decide that just because the market's moved up this much doesn't mean it can't go up more. We've gone up 40% in a couple of days, but we believe that this can continue on because this is the momentum. That's different from value investing, which is you look at this downtrend, for example, and you realize, looking at the past history, XRP should probably be at least $1.60, right? It should be at this level. But right now, it's sitting at this box right here. It's sitting at $1.15. I should be buying into these levels to get myself a juicy entry, so I'm in profit the moment it comes back up there. The reason these two are both right is because one is looking at a coin or a stock and saying, you know what, this is the cheapest price that it gets to, right? These prices are low in comparison to where it's been trading at for the past couple of months. I should get in to get a good entry. While the other is, well, the trend is your friend, the market's moving up. What is the most likely outcome further on? It's for it to go further up. That's, again, what always happens in the market, or at least that's what mostly happens in the markets, that the trend continues and the trend is your friend. So while some say, no, you should not go into momentum because that's risky because you're going to get burned, the market will turn right back around. Some others will say, no, you shouldn't actually buy the, let's showcase it right here. You shouldn't actually be buying these dips right here because that's, again, more risk of the market just coming down. You should buy into reversals because this is now a trend shift. The trend will now continue to go higher. Both are fine, but I mostly make money from momentum. I mostly do well when it comes to trading when the trend is showcasing a lot of good signs. And right now, what we're seeing is mass short liquidations. Excitement coming back into the market, but slowly, quite sustained. Some coins are up 40%, but not all of them just quite yet. And again, I told you the biggest sign for an altcoin season is when a coin is able to gain out of the top 100 40% in a day again, because that's what we saw back in October 2024 as well when XRP went on a crazy spree. But my best sign for the markets flipping would be XRP going up 40% in a day. And right now, the best it's doing is 60% in a day, but sustainably for the past 3 days. We're not in the clear yet, though, and that's the scary part. But I'm going to quickly hit a little toilet break. Give me like 1 minute. All right, I'm the fastest guy in the freaking West. right, that was a good little run. How's the stream quality looking, guys? Are we still okay? Is everything looking nice? Wait, what are you guys saying? Who made Dusty disappear? Kim Jong-un confiscated him back to his dungeon. All right. That's what you gotta think of me, huh? I'm a spy sent from Korea. All right. Well, fair enough. What do I have open here? Oh, yeah, by the way. So, sometimes in these streams, I also get my analyst in, right? Some of you guys know him as Terminator. And I said this at the start of the stream, but I want to say it again. Little fun fact. Here's our conversation. Okay, it's a big graphic, so I had to blur a couple of words right there. Well, I mean, it's not really a conversation too much. He basically just said, "Cause you're gonna tomorrow." I'm not sure exactly what that meant. I said, "Hey, hey, hey." And then he basically said, how's your trip going?" Because I was in Greece for a little while. He says, "How's that going?" I had to blur something right there. Bitcoin to $80,000 soon, by the way. He said that on the 9th of August. This is the guy that you often see in my streams here. He's my main analyst. And this chat, you know, it's not really interactive, as you can see. I didn't really realize that. But that's usually where he sends me like price updates and stuff. But this time he's not. Yeah, it's Arnie. And this time, he did not send me any update in a while because I didn't really ask for it because the market was super shit anyway. And so it's kind of funny because now he's saying, "Where are my credits, my boy?" Because I didn't really believe him. I'm being honest with you. I didn't have that much faith. But, yeah, I had to take a couple of words away. As you can see, I had to blur a couple of words in the conversation. But that's okay. Anyway, really, the market right now is making me want to FOMO in and just get more bots going. I'm thinking even of doing that just to take advantage of the volatility here, especially if this sets through for a couple of days. And also, by the way, the text that I'm getting right now, like all of a sudden, everybody is back into looking at crypto over the past couple of hours. Like the messages in every single group chat and stuff have been dead for such a long while. All of a sudden, the past week, crazy. But all of a sudden, specifically right now, absolutely crazy. But like 𝗕𝗃𝗀𝗃 says, the market gave me PTSD. Yeah, my friends, real truth. I'm a bit afraid of going a bit too crazy right here. Anyway, y'alls, make sure you check out Blowfin if you're looking for a platform to trade on. It's the one I personally use a lot. As you can get some really nice bonuses just for signing up. You get VIP 1, which basically means you get lower fees and all that type of stuff. Actually, I think it's like a 17%. Oh, yeah. For VIP 1, you get 70% discount. There's a nice little bonus that you get for signing up, and also a deposit bonus, or a trading bonus, you call it, which basically means that if you have not used the platform before and you're starting out, and you deposit something right there, you can see you get yourself $500 bonus to trade with, which is really nice because some people, what they do is they farm these bonuses. They just sign up and get it when the action's hot. This only will last for the next couple of days until the 23rd, so 2 more days left. If you've not gotten yourself an account on Blowfin just quite yet, first link in the description down below. And, ladies and gentlemen, also, y'all have said we need a method to keep everybody in the loop on every single thing. And that basically means I want a system to be able to talk with you guys whenever something happens. And there's a couple of ways in which I'm going to do that. But the first and most important part is going to be our Telegram. And so if you guys have not done it yet, I'm going to quickly copy the link over here real quick. I'm going to quickly post that in the bar. Here we go. Enter. Oh, by the way, did you guys know that the keyboard I use is a custom Mantle keyboard? Like, this is a gift I got from Mantle a while back. It's like a crypto coin. It's like a 𝗕𝗃𝗀. I always use 𝗕𝗃𝗀s, but this is like a really nice one. You know, it's just a little fun fact that I have a crypto keyboard for all of you that did not know. Like, most of you have never seen my keyboard, probably. But anyway, so let me preview this channel. The Telegram, what it just looks like right now, is like this, right? We've got quite a couple of people in here, a couple thousand, 3,000 already. But recently, you can see we're not really doing as well anymore. I posted this last night, and it only had 144 views, only 3 likes. I want to put a lot of effort into sharing all the most important updates that I usually post over on X, or I'd make a video for. I want to also share them in here the moment that they come out. But I want you guys to also be active then, in the sense that if you're seeing something, that you make sure you press the little like button. If you're not using Telegram, don't worry. This is just for the people that are interested in that type of stuff. But just, you know, help a brother out with a little like every now and then on these things, so I know what type of content you guys want and which ones you don't, because I will just base it off of the likes. Like maybe you want more of these summaries. Maybe it's more of literal stuff I post on X, but just a bit faster. I'm not sure. So based on your likes, I will decide what should be posted in there. And yeah, recently I also posted, for example, a guide on how to connect your claw to TradingView and stuff like that. But I realized there's probably some more efficient ways to get this done. But it all starts with having everybody in some sort of group. And you guys said both Telegram and Discord will work. But for right now, I'm just doing Telegram just to get something started. And then we'll work towards Discord a little bit later down the line, because that needs a lot more moderation. And XRP is still continuing on strong. It's going so strong. But the only major piece of news, by the way, this is the AI generated XRP chart. This is the Solana chart. I wonder how this is going to come along over the next couple of weeks here. I wonder how this is going to come along. Bitcoin, such a beautiful hit, right? Anyway, as I was trying to say, for XRP, the only real piece of news that we had, I think, had to do with the what was it now? The massive buys, right? This one right here, the Goldman Sachs purchasing. I think this was the only major piece of XRP news we had, and of course Brad Garlinghouse being there at the White House, or at least at the White House little summit. I think those are two main interesting points. However, it's really not crazy the crypto market's going up. Here's the little rebound of all the top most important news that came out this week. So Bitcoin rebounds sharply. U.S. regulators accelerate the crypto market rules. Citibank prepares Bitcoin custody services. We covered that. And institutions expand into digital assets. This week also saw continued growth in tokenization, Bitcoin treasury strategies, and AI-related crypto infrastructure. So we had Bitcoin surge past 77.5, basically all the way towards 80,000. The SEC proposing crypto regulation crypto assets. CFTC crypto rules to proceed. CME CEO debates prediction market rules. This is all at the Trump conference thingy. Citibank launches a Custody Plus platform for a custody platform and more for crypto. Tether plans emerging market AI tools. Kraken opens U.S. stocks for European users. Metaplanet to build Bitcoin treasury platform. Trump backing Hyperliquid's U.S. compliance. And tokenization mirrors early ETF era. Yeah, we're in a really good spot right now, guys. I keep reiterating it. And it's kind of funny how all the fears of strategy going to zero have also kind of faded, right? Where before, it was all of a sudden everybody talking about how strategy can't keep this up and is going to zero. How that kind of has faded. It's kind of funny to me. Let me quickly see this. Live studio. Oh, I see we're also live over on X. It worked out fine, huh? Where are you guys watching this from? Are we watching from YouTube or from X or from Facebook? Because I'm streaming on a couple of platforms, but I believe nobody's watching. I think we have 0 people watching on Facebook. But that's also because I've never even used Facebook. I don't know how Facebook works. I can see the live, but I wouldn't actually know if it's actually properly doing something. There's literally 0 people watching. But I thought, you know what? Maybe there's a lot of people on Facebook that like crypto stuff. I don't know. Is Facebook a stuff where people find crypto things? Is that a thing? Am I stupid? Do you guys ever see crypto content on Facebook for all of you that use Facebook? Like, I don't know. I'm not that good with Facebook. So I wouldn't be able to tell you. From the tube, from YouTube. Everybody watch from YouTube. Yeah, I bet so already. All right. So, okay, so you're saying my one XRP won't even be able to buy me a coffee. I mean, if you're in Thailand or Vietnam, your one XRP right now can buy you a coffee for sure. If you're in your house right now, right, and you've got a coffee machine, or you've got, like, I don't know, a pot, you can buy some coffee grounds. So, yeah, your XRP can buy you a coffee, like, right now. For sure it can. Okay, McFly says, what happens to XRP at 5, 8, 9, or $1,000 or $10,000? I mean, if I'm being realistic here, I still believe that XRP will see, like, tens of dollars this season. I still believe so. People call me crazy for that, but just like how I believe Bitcoin will hit 300,000, 400,000, at least 250,000, but let's say $300,000. Similarly, do I think XRP will be above $15? And it isn't actually that even, it's not even that odd. It's not even that weird. But we need to be patient, is what I often like to say. We need to be patient and realize that it's not going to be an easy journey, and the majority of people won't make it there. The majority of people won't be able to reap the benefits from being in the crypto market so long because they'll quit too early. And some will quit when the market's really hot too quickly, you know, basically take the first pump and dip. And some people will just sell everything when the market's really, really low because they can't last any longer. Which, at the end of the day, is understandable as well. Like, not everybody was made from the same cloth. A lot of people are just not built to endure the lows of the crypto market because it's not an easy environment. Like, this is not an easy place to chill at, right? We can all agree to that, I believe. Right now, I'm chilling pretty comfortably because XRP is hopefully making new local highs here. But also, do I wish that I just opened my bot so we could take advantage of the volatility here? But you guys are going to call me stupid if the market flips against us again. We could also potentially open a spot bot. I've actually only done that once. But at that point, we cannot get liquidated. But I wonder how big the volatility would be and how interesting this would be. Oh, this is useless. But how interesting this would be. Let's do $1,000, for example. How much would that be? Quantity per good is only 12 XRP, so it'd make nothing. I guess we can open this just to see for fun. If we do it like 0.9 T, upper bound, let's just do $2. Just for fun, let's just see. And we do 1,000 grids. Yeah, I thought so already. It's like going to be 1 XRP every single buy, every single sell. We could do this just for fun to see how this would go. Let's see how this would look. I've only done one spot bot. You can see right here, it's a $3,000 ETH bot, and it's up 10% or so. But let's see. So yeah, the grid profits every single time it sells is a fraction of a cent. Look at this. We're making 0.0000000. We're basically making nothing. But we can't get liquidated on this. It's just a matter of patience on this. So it is actually something kind of cool. I just never tried it out because the profit is so little. Here on ETH, for example, as well, we're making how much? Let's see. We're also making like 2 cents, and this is a $3,000 bot every single time it buys and sells. But the 2 cents have made us a couple, $140. It's only 8% a year. No, it's actually not even worth it. I guess it's an extra 8% though off of just buying it on spot. But I don't think this makes a lot of sense. How's the funding looking for? Oh, there's no funding because it's spot. You know what? It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Because we're making profit on the trend P&L. So when ETH goes up, we're making profit on that. And it actually, just from holding alone, it generated like 5%. So I guess it's better than buying spot, right? Well, okay, there's some idea to that. Maybe I should just add a lot more to these than to the BTC bot and spot and stuff, just to have instead of holding normal BTC. Because I guess why not have it in a grid bot if I can? That's a good question. Good question. Good question. Good question, Dust. Good question. But yeah, no, this is not going to put any dent. I need to do a lot more money for this to be really reasonable, though. Whatever. All right, that's just for fun. We opened that up just to have something to look at. At least that's fun over the past couple of days, the next couple of days. We've already up $3, so 0.6% on Hyperliquid's volatility. We've already done 66 sales. And how's the XRP bot now looking? Let's see. So 405, 359. We're doing about 1 sale or 2 sales every 10 minutes. Here was a lot more. So yeah, looking pretty good still as well. Okay. All right. Anything you guys are watching in particular right now? The Fortune says, I've been ditching traditional longs and shorts and just using a leveraged grid bot on my upper lower bounds. Yeah. So what I learned throughout testing this through millions of dollars, because trust me, at some point, this is my, I have 2 Payonex accounts, but even in this one, I think at some point we had a couple $1 million in just this one specifically. And then I have the main one, right, the institutional account. The amount of money I've riding on grid bots is absolutely insane. Because if you make your grid wide enough, like here, 34 to 92, or for Solana here, 50 to 300, the amount of profit you can make, if you're unlucky, is little, with just the trend P&L being basically based off of your starting price and current price. But if you're lucky, and this lasts a long time, like we can see right here, we have seen XRP go from $2.16 to $1.40. So we should be down like a good amount of money, sure. But because of the grid profits we've actually been able to make in this entire duration, even though XRP is down a tremendous amount, we've still been able to cash out $18,000 in the midst. So the beautiful part about that is, even if you're completely wrong on the market, you can still earn. That's why I really love these bots and why I should actually open more. Because the Bitcoin one is also, I see now, like I've not opened Payonex in such a long while. You can see it's not been trading since January of this year. My Bitcoin bot has stopped trading. I see now. But already back then it made $20,000 and then it stopped for 6 months. So that's why in about 1 year it made $20,000 on the heights. Then obviously as crypto crashed, the bot also crashed. But you can see Bitcoin crashed, what? Like the 10th of October, right? Fun fact, if you look at my bot, you wouldn't even realize that Bitcoin crashed to absolute crazy levels that day. And that the all-time high was hit and anything like that. Because of the massive profits, it took a very long time before my bot was actually at a loss. As a matter of fact, it made so much profit that day because the Bitcoin price went down like crazy and then back up. The Fortune Seeker says, should have opened bots at the bottom, my guy. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter too much because even if I were to open them up right now, like I don't really mind, because I thought about opening them up a couple of days ago. I don't really mind. Also, if we were to look at XRP, let's see for fun. We can actually take a look. This is smart. No, this is way too high. If we were to say, for example, to do 0.50 to $3.50, for example. Let's just do this for fun to see. If we're to do this, I have to switch up a little bit more. Let me just quickly put some more money into the account just for reference sake. Give me a second. Let me just quickly put in this way around. Let me quickly put in. All right. Let's quickly put in $5,000. Here we go. How long does that take? There we go. So we got 5K in there. Okay. If I were to do 1K at 3x leverage with no auto reserve, that would place my estimated liquidation at 0.81, right? So that's actually pretty far away because from this point on forward, 81 cents per XRP is roughly 42% lower. Now, if I were to put $1,000 in and I'd add a little bit for margin though, in this case here, $1,000, you can see my liquidation is all of a sudden now at 33 cents. Now, for me personally, a $1,000 bot is not that interesting, but I realized that if you have them at 3x, even, are we frozen? Guys, are we good? No, we're not frozen. One of my screens shows that it's frozen, but it's not. I think we're looking really juicy here. Anyway, you can see that just the only problem is, like, we're still starting at way too high. Like, we'd prefer to start this at $1 so we could take the up benefit. But most importantly, because if we started back then, our liquidation price would be probably at the same price for less margin, right? But here's the kicker. We could still start it right now with a small amount. That's why I said, for example, we do it at $1,000. And then if we get back to $1, we add $3,000 to it, for example. If we triple the input, we can still take advantage of the volatility right now, but actually get the real entry if the price goes low. That's why I said I could just do like $1,000, even just a couple $100, whatever, just to get some benefit of the volatility. You get my drift? So the thing is, I would want to add a little bit more also in terms of margin, because 80 cents can just be hit if the market all of a sudden does something crazy. But lower amounts, like for example, at 500, if it's like below, see, now at this point it's 57 cents. What's the probability of hitting that in a snap? Almost zero. So I'm just going to make one of these. Right. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't take a look at the details. So normally I calculate what I want these amount of grids to be and the price range a bit better. This is mostly just to give an example. It's basically from the low to the higher bound. You want this to not be too high so it actually trades a lot, but also you don't want the price range to be too low because if the market turns against you, you do also, of course, want to be able to buy more. Now, you can, of course, change this if you're at a profit all the time whenever you want. But if we were to make this right now, for example, you can see it's not actually buying in that much because we're about halfway through the range. We made this right now. I'm making a lot of different things, it seems, just to reap the benefits for in case there's a lot of volatility. So we can just benefit off of that and the bot can buy and sell. It's also mostly just to prove a little bit of a position, prove a little bit of a point, because obviously this XRP position of 1400 XRP is not really going to do too much against my main bots right here. Like this one is right now still at 100,000 XRP, but it's mostly just to prove that even right now, buying in at $1.40, which to some people may sound stupid, and I get that, just wait. We only open it with $1,000 because we want to, for example, do 3,000 or 4,000 or 7,000 or 10,000 if we go back to $1. But we do also want to get something in case this is indeed a continued run and the momentum starts picking back up. Is this really smart? It depends on your style of investing. It depends on your, not financial advice. It depends on your style of how you like to trade and how you like to try things out. Buying the top here is stupid. It's mostly just to prove a point of I can start anywhere and eventually turn it into a profit as long as you start small enough. Now, it's a bit more difficult when your position is like this XRP one right here with $1 million. Why? Because if I want to DCA it properly, I'm going to have to push millions of dollars towards it to get it to a nicer average price. Like even if I add another $100,000 right now, it's not really going to dent my average price too much. Right now it's 233 or actually 243. You know, because you can see right here, $43,000 only adjusted the price from 243 to 233. So it just took the average price lower, so the break-even price lower by 10 cents. Adding another $40,000 takes it down lower by 10 cents. If that would happen every time, so to take it below $2, I'd have to add $120,000 to this, or something along those lines, right? Which is pretty significant. But for smaller positions, that is a lot easier. And right now you can see we're down. Oh no, but it doesn't really matter too much. We are trying to get more buys in. And as the market starts moving and get really volatile, hopefully we can also make some juicy profits from just having more things running. But you're right. Would have been way better to have this open at the bottom of the bottom. And TJ says October 10th can happen again, which is true. But theoretically speaking, that day just happened for all the people that were shorting. Remember that. This was the worst day for basically almost any shorter that is out there right now. Any person that's short in the crypto market, most likely this was your worst day ever. Because as I've told you, I've been in the market for so long and I've never seen days like this. This is way more rare than many may put credit towards. This is a short squeeze to the best of the ability that's possible. And that's why I'm more excited that this may hold, that this run may last, because of the crazy amounts of shorts that got wrecked in a very short amount of time. Nobody's willing to short right now. Nobody's willing to put their money into the market and say, nope, we're going down from here. A lot of people think that the bull market is not back necessarily. Hey, cool. But to really put their money to the where the mouth is and short, a lot of people are not trying to do. They're too afraid. We're going down from here. Uh-oh. Let me just quickly go here. But yeah, again, right now we're seeing the absolute top. And as I described from even just the AI chart, logically, you don't want to really go all in at one of these crucial levels. It's preferable to go in at, for example, support, maybe place a limit at 134.2 or a little bit higher than that, but you get the drift, right? If we were to fall back down, that would be a lot easier on the mental. But then again, if you look at Solana, right, we had ourselves the 93.5 hit, right, the most important today high, the major first wall. We could wait for 86, but a lot of people are also layering back in right here in the midst. And the reason they're layering back in right here is because they believe that this wall is not the true resistance. Matter of fact, it should most likely be at, for example, 94. And so they believe since another hit is going to happen, anywhere below this price level is basically just golden eggs. But I want to talk about that later. I just want to quickly post this in the community chat. All right. Wait, that's peculiar. How long have we been live for, I wonder? Is it almost 2 hours at this point? I think almost 2 hours today, huh? That's absolutely crazy. And it's because the market just keeps doing crazier numbers. And every single time I think, you know, it has to kind of come back down, at least for some sort of correction. It just pushes through. And again, we do not expect this entire run to be uncorrected. And so if you are right now with a little bit of change in your pocket still looking for another entry, usually they come, right? Usually it takes a couple of hours, but they come. And at least you get like, let's say 10% lower than the heights that we're seeing right now. That's like very logical. And what I think we're going to do is maybe try a new strategy of layering those bots in a bit more significantly to try and layer even at quicker points. So for example, perhaps we buy back in at like $1.30 or $1.25 if we're to come back down as low. But it's the weekends, so usually things are a bit slower, except for on Sunday, obviously. Every single Sunday we see that. And by the way, yo, if you've not done yet, make sure you join the Telegram. Are you guys all in enough? Or in? Enough. Sun God Dog says market makers would eventually flush out longs sooner than later. Careful, peeps. Again, I will always be on your side, but I will have to again reiterate that at the end of the day, market makers, what do? They provide liquidity, right? They put in the bids, they put in the ask, they put in everything to get the market to be liquid. Most exchanges do their internal market making to basically bet against you. We all know that. So how that works is an exchange, instead of actually letting independent market makers put in orders into the order book to basically just fill it up, what they do is they look at your trade and they basically say, okay, you're most likely wrong. We go against you. So by basically either never executing the trade really, which is another option, or by basically being the counter side to you in an order book. Now, the reason that's significant is because very often when the market all of a sudden shifts up, many exchanges go bankrupt. That might sound crazy to y'all, but many exchanges all of a sudden stop paying out, all of a sudden stop allowing withdrawals because the market goes up too much. Some exchanges actually like to stop, like maybe a bit more, like some exchanges like to stop at low points in the market, not because they're making so much profit or making no profit anymore, but because they do not want the market to ever kick back up. And as of this point, most of their users are at a loss. So they want those people to close their positions, take whatever remaining money they have out before the market can kick back up so they can keep the profits if they were, again, trading against their own users. A lot of exchanges do this. It's important to know that. It's important to keep that in the back of your head. That's one of the main theses as to why exchanges all of a sudden in the bear market may stop. Like, that would not be logical, right? Well, if they were against you, they put their money against you. That would make a whole lot of sense to quit when the iron is not hot at all. Anyway, for XRP, our position right now, we have one XRP position of about, it was $1 million. We are still down $430,000 on this XRP position right now today. So it's still not really too clear. On the other platforms, it seems I didn't have anyone open. I think if I dive deep enough into more of my accounts, we'll have a ton of them still open that are kind of like hidden. We opened one new XRP trade. You guys may think it's stupid, but give it a little bit of time. We opened actually 2 new XRP trades, and the main XRP bot has already made us a pretty good amount of money today, as 136 transactions in 24 hours of about $2 profit. Means we made probably about $250 here in the past 24 hours just off of the XRP volatility alone of this one specific bot. Of course, there's a ton where that came from. I actually have a few more altcoin bots that I forgot about. Oh, we have a Q&T bot. That's not been trading for a long time, I think, as well. Another Solana bot, a BNB. ETH, I see here. A Sol bot. Okay. We have a couple ones I'd forgotten about, but that's pretty nice. No more XRP bots in here, huh? Okay. What else do we have here? Another 0.5 ETH. Liquidation of 1,300. Okay. Forgot that these even existed, but that's kind of nice. So anyway, long story short, if we go back to the drawing board, we believe that right now, and this, I'll show you guys an AI chart real quick for all the people that are new and watching right now. What we've got over in here is basically an AI chart that specifies what the most important levels for XRP are. Now, as you can see, POC at 1.4, we knew this, but still 18.5% of all volume is the heaviest node. It's all around the $1.40 mark, right? And that's partially what we just bought above, but that's also because we really believe the most important resistance is the one we hit today. I don't think so, but here. It's the first wall, today's high at 143. That's the next hurdle to get over. After that comes 147, the March high. After that is 151, the April high. And after that, as you can see, the resistance number 4, 155-ish, May lower high, macro line in the sand. As of this point, what are we seeing? We've seen 2 boxes. We've got an orange box and a red box. Orange box is POC band 134 to 143. 47% of the volume over the past 220 days was within this area. This is a point where statistically buying is riskiest. It gets better, supposedly, as we get above the first wall, 143. But actually, the first wall I didn't think was too relevant. I just say above 140 and get a close above there, at least on a 4-hour. As of this point, we've not gotten our 4-hour close above $1.40, so we're a bit more afraid at this point. And we actually are just holding our hopes at the $1.34.20 support. And again, if you're wondering how accurate this usually is, this is a chart we had from yesterday or 2 days ago, I don't remember. And look at how accurate Bitcoin's price hit our most important resistance number 5 at 79,485. We hit 79,500. Most people said that Bitcoin would hit exactly 80,000, but on Binance, 79.5K. We said 79.5. It hits that $500 below where most people place their target. And that's where you can see that sometimes with the power of AI, you're a lot more accurate than just basing it on psychological levels. You can see the April high / supply shelf at 79.485 instead of 78,000. And look how juicy that was hit today. Again, the most important support for Bitcoin being $76,000 right now, the March swing highs. But realistically, the majority of the action is going to be seen at 72 to 74.3, I think, $1,000 that is. Yeah. That's where we're all placing our real attention on right now. So yeah, pay close attention to all of this. That is again for Bitcoin though. For XRP, yeah, we're in a really cool zone. We already had ourselves a really massive volatility spike, like somewhere yesterday, when all of a sudden XRP saw 134 and then all the way back down to 116. Especially if you have bots, like these type of moves you can make a lot of money on because of the volatility, right? That's where you make a lot of money because the bot buys in and then sells back on the way up. But right now what we've seen is like an unstopped, basically, rise here. We've just gone crazier and crazier. I really wonder what the catalyst would be for either a next massive pump or a next massive chop. The Fortune says, I'm actually trying a short bot for XRP sometime today or tomorrow off this pump to see how it goes. Yeah, it could work. Lessa says, hi, Dusty. 1 hour and 51 minutes. We've been streaming for a while. Hey, guys, if you're watching this right now, where are you watching from? And a little question. How many of you guys are holding XRP? Is that your main coin? And also, is there any other chart you'd like to see with the power of AI? Right, we've done Sol, which, by the way, is picking itself back up. We've done XRP right now and Bitcoin. Is there any other coin we'd have to do something on here? What is your favorite coin if you have to pick another one? Is it XLM? Is it something else? Let's see what has most votes, and I'll let my bot do the work here. Let's see what you guys are saying. XRP, the biggest hold. QNT. Okay, so Dirk wants QNT. We can do that. H-bar, H-bar. Okay, so we got 2 votes for H-bar right now. So I guess it has to be H-bar then. Unless some new votes coming in hot. No, we got H-bar. So all right. I don't know if H-bar has, if I've installed H-bar in my list. Like I do have a little set of parameters that I usually insert to make sure the chart look nicer. You know what? Let's see. Maybe my system is automatically already good enough. On my Mac, on the Mac Mini, I know for sure it's going to be good enough, or on the Mac Studio. But on here, can you also set up the most important levels in the H-bar chart that I've got open right now? All right, let's see. We've got H-bar USDT. Let's do a like this. There we go. All right, so we've asked it. I don't know if it was within my parameters. I don't know if I installed it yet, but let's see. Otherwise, I can just tell it to install it. I think it will find a way. Just giving it a couple of seconds to see if it loads on in. Finding the H-bar chart window. It's trying its best. And also, by the way, there is always analysis that comes with it too. Like, for example, if you look at the XRP chart that it inserted, it actually gives you the most important levels explained, and you can actually ask you to explain it further. Don't, please, ladies and gentlemen, please, 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 if you're a person that's thinking of making these trading strategies, don't just tell your AI, hey, when to buy and think it will work. Most likely you will lose unless you're just really lucky with the market momentum. But these are tools that you could perhaps use in your already existing trading strategies. And what I always say is, if you're a good trader, these things make you cracked. If you're a bad trader, this doesn't all of a sudden make you good. That's something really important to keep in the back of your head, right? That it can really help in making you better, but it cannot all of a sudden make you a genius with nothing. Over time, perhaps it could. But here you can see. So the trade that makes sense, honest read on XRP, and again, this is objective, right? This is not based on hype alone. It cannot measure the hype necessarily. It could, I guess, if I try to, but XRP is the weakest of the 3 to enter right now, and I would not chase it. Not because the reversal is fake, the volume says it's real, but because price is parked inside a 47% volume supply band with RSI at 83, so it's really overbought, and 27% above its 20 EMA. You'd be buying into the worst overhead resistance on the chart and the most extended point of the move. The asymmetry is bad. So you're basically buying in relatively too much towards the upside rather than downside, right? You're not buying balance in the middle. If you want to set up, wait for one of these 2 things. One is a pullback for a better risk reward. Let it come back to like 129 or 134, the 200 EMA plus the unfilled 4-hour gap. Entry at 131, invalidation on the daily close below 1.2750. First target back to 143, second 147.3. Risk, okay, don't listen to the risk, but minus 0.035 for 0.12 to target 1 roughly 3.4R. Don't listen to the last part about where to place those stop losses or what the risk would be, have to be, or should be. It's just about the idea as to what it thinks the most important levels are. And again, these can just help you with your broader analysis. Same for identifying these zones. And then on the opposite side, as you can see right here for B, the breakout, the daily close above 43 clears the POC and opens 1.47. Let's see here. Wait a minute. Let me just quickly take a look at it better. I got distracted a little bit. Oh, wait. So my camera's okay. Sometimes some stuff all happens at the same time. Get distracted for a little second. Let me just quickly confirm this again. The breakout, confirmation worst price. A daily close above 143 clears the POC and opens 1.473 to 1.55 basically. Enter on the close, stop below 139, smaller edge, but you're no longer fighting the shelf. Do these work? Not necessarily. What the idea is these are 2 very traditional methods of trading that could be something interesting to take a look at. And so you're either basically buying into the momentum, buying into the breakout, or you're buying into the pullback. Now, again, all of this will fail if all of a sudden the market starts to kick itself, right, in the freaking face. But it's something that could potentially be something to look at. And all right, I think we got our H-bar little system set. This chart may not be as accurate because I've not added H-bar's parameters. So what I usually do for every single pair is I add a couple of pieces of interesting information, the way I like to see my chart and the way it should do their analysis. I've done that for XRP, Sol, Ethereum, some of the most major pairs, but H-bar is not something that's usually in my trading regimen. So this is just, I believe, purely AI. This is not even my own thoughts added to it. The first support already got broken here. We have the second support, which is the July high. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We've got the third support, which is the August high. That also makes a lot of sense. But H-bar has actually been a pretty weak contender all around. Like this pump, relatively, is either kind of weak. Yeah, it's 22% up in comparison to most other coins. So it's actually behind a bit. Which, of course, to some people is a beautiful thing. They think just because it's behind means it's got more catch-up potential to do. To some people, this may also be a matter of, well, if it's behind right now, when the market's so hot and so juicy, when could it ever do well? Solana is gaining again, though. XRP is still stale, but Solana is gaining again at 91.6. Bitcoin still on the up and up, though. Oh, one of my algorithms also triggered along right here. No, this actually, I think this is a stupid algorithm. Like, I don't think this is as, yeah, don't worry about that one. Let's close that. Also, by the way, I'm not sure when you guys woke up. I have not eaten anything. Like, zero things whatsoever. All I've been doing is just watching XRP. All I've been doing is just watching these crypto coins. Miami in the house says, Will, Link is a good one. I said, Link is a good one, though. I forgot about Chainlink. Chainlink has also been one of the strongest performers recently. And also, a very logical reason, it's not strong necessarily in terms of actual price gain, but it's really strong because we had ourselves the, if we go back to this, where is it? Let me quickly find it. Back here, right? We had ourselves Sergey. Where is he? All right, there's a lot more. Here we go. We had ourselves the CEO of Chainlink give a little speech. It was minor, but still, at the presidential conference.
I just want to say that what Chairman Selig and Chairman Atkins are doing and the president has enabled with his leadership is actually working. So if you look at stablecoin usage and adoption, it's increasing the usage and distribution of the US dollar at higher and higher levels than our industry has ever seen, specifically because of the Genius Act and the movement of more and more treasuries into stablecoins and therefore into more and more hands across the world. And now the tokenization of equities, thanks to Chairman Selig's and Chairman Atkins' great work and collaboration and actual work together rather than working against each other as before, is going to distribute U.S. equities globally and increase the distribution of those. So, we power a lot of these applications and companies, so we know what the numbers actually are, and they're massively increasing because we have regulators and leadership that enables the success and distribution of these US-based assets. So there's actually a very real and tangible outcome that's really now benefiting the US and adoption of US-issued assets and the US dollar. So I just want to mention that it really is working and hitting all-time highs. So thank you very much.
It's true. Yeah. Another little fun fact, like maybe y'all don't know this, but you know that in good times, you know how different things are going to get? So what I mean with that is, it's kind of funny how right now you're looking at the market thinking, oh, this is hot, right? Well, in terms of price action, it's pretty hot. In terms of liquidations, it's unprecedented. So yeah, that's pretty hot. But you know how strange it is that just within a couple of months, it could very well be so that all of a sudden YouTube, TikTok, everything is filled again with thousands of opportunities, and people all of a sudden will start making these top coin videos again. Like right now, when is the last time you saw a top coin video? Nobody's making them because nobody really knows what the next major line out is going to be. Nobody knows if it's going to be mostly related to AI, which is kind of what's expected right now, or mostly related to, RWAs again, or really anything. It's just anybody's guess, really. But soon enough, that's going to shift over. When all of a sudden some areas start to show a lot more, how do you say, aliveness, livelihood, excitement, I guess. And right now, at least to me, it's already being showcased partially, right? If we look at the top gainers right now, some of them are meme coins, but there is not any clear sign of something. It's just not the meme coin sector that I would have expected a bit more. And for the most part here, it seems Athena is just, wait a minute. It's up now 50% throughout the day. Virtual is also coming. Oh my days. Imagine if this virtual's position that I have, I put in, I think maybe $20,000 into virtuals at $2. It's down $15,000, 700%. And ever since I bought it, it's been down. If this goes back up, because it was at some point $30,000 in the plus, I guess. How much have I paid in funding? Oh, I can't see here. If this comes back up and my, I think $20,000 virtual position actually flips back into profit, because I wanted to close this out at a loss so often. And I was like, you know what? I'll just sit through and suffer. If this actually flip into profit, I may have to eat my freaking shoe. Because I never in my worst fears believed that. Like all the people that I knew at virtuals that worked there have left somewhere in the best of times. I guess they all realized that, it was a good time in the market. They should sell their stuff and go. But damn. Oh, you said damn, that got loud? Okay, is the microphone too loud? Did I do something? Let's also get and now do the analysis for chain link or link to USDT as well. Oh, it's writing linked to USD. Let's try it. Link / USDT as well. All right. I'm just looking real quick through the thoughts it had on HBAR here. Funnily enough, HBAR really seems the weakest of all of them, yeah. Structurally, the reversal here for HBAR is weakest, but the volume increase is severe. 3x, huh? Every single other one has reclaimed the EMA, except for HBAR, still 13.2% under. Like, from a undervalued perspective, HBAR is in a really good spot, but it has still got a long way to go, and we hope that Bitcoin can still remain neutral. It doesn't have to gain, by the way. Like, even if Bitcoin goes flat, a lot of these altcoins can still thrive very much so. All we just don't want to see is for all of a sudden Bitcoin to dump like crazy, or some new Trump announcing some war or something like that would cause our markets to have a really bad day. Because as long as we stay, like, let's call it neutral, for most of us, that's really positive still. At least to me, it would be. All right, Solana still looking pretty juicy. And by the way, guys, if you've not done it yet, if you're looking for a platform to trade on, you can check out Blowfin with the link down below. It's a platform I personally trade on. You can just check it out. You get some nice bonuses just for signing up. And you can use it from almost anywhere in the world. And in case you can't use it, there's another platform I use called WeX, which I've linked down below as well, which I often use. And also, I'll be streaming on here every single day. If you're not yet subscribed, make sure you do so, because you've got nothing to lose. Like I said, I'll be here every single day for a while now, because the market's so hot. I just want to sit here and talk about crypto and talk about our trades and talk about our plans. And yeah, a lot of people will laugh at me for what I'm about to do over the next couple of days and open crazy things. But let's see how fun it's going to get, huh? We've only had 2 transactions win thus far. How much has it bought in? It's not really doing too much just quite yet. I guess the price is to move a bit more. It's only like 1 buy every cent. And even though it's volatile, it's not that volatile because our range is so large. Like, we put the price range here at a pretty wide level. And I guess I'm not so sure if we can even make a ton of money based on the fees per trade. Like, can we even still make a profit? Oh, yeah, it's 2 cents per time here. And here, can we make a profit based on the fees? I'm gonna have to calculate here if we can actually even, because it's 306. 3011. Okay, we're not really making any profit at all with this one, huh? So the problem is sometimes your fees relatively are a bit too high for some of the bots if they're too small or with too many grids to make sense. So in that sense here, 1,000 grids, for example, means the transaction size is really, really small. But sometimes because of the starting fee, like you have a small part fee, it may not be able to be done. But I believe on Pionex, your fees are really low. At least if you've got some money out there or you're trading a lot, your fees are super, super low. So that may be a reason why we're able to flip it into still having been profit. So over the past hour on our hyperliquid, we were able to make $4.40. So we're getting ourselves a little, well, not really minimum wage, but but somewhere close to it by doing nothing. And again, this is even though hyperliquid, if we just bought with 3x leverage, all we'd be is down $10. But right now, we've actually made $4 from just the volatility, which is why these bots are so beautiful. It's already done 107 sales since we started the stream of 4 cents. Now, if I did 10 times the amount of money, we'd actually be up $40, obviously. It would have sold 40 cents 107 times, which could have been juicy. But obviously, we don't want to overextend and go too crazy here, right? We want to slowly ease into the market again. As right now, a lot of signs are showcasing that we're in the green, but, you know, we still got a little bit of ways to go. Anyway, lads, if you're not just subscribed to the channel, I have to keep asking this, or subscribe to the page. Make sure you do so. Because a lot of people right now are watching most likely that have not even seen me before. How many of you guys are here every single day? How many of you guys are locals that live here? Didic says, I swapped some HBAR from QT yesterday and made a good choice. Yeah, HBAR is doing literally the weakest out of everything, huh? Here's Link. Let's see how good this is. Link is also not part of my cluster. And also, what is this shitty box structure, huh? Let's see. So for resistance 1, it takes 11.990. December low, first real resistance. Today's high at 11.9, which is very, very close. But the most important, that's resistance 0. It doesn't even count that. Thin zone, this one. 1186 to 1293, sparse volume, little resistance, so there's a good chance that once we breach it, we just continue on higher towards potentially even R3 at 12.930. But I guess for a Link, we'd have to ask for an extended version because I'm going to say, let's see here. Current price. We're up, okay, never mind. We're up 63% from the lows. Not bad at all. I can't believe Link actually went to $7, huh? I also want to add Link to my bots because I don't know if I still have one open anymore. And by the way, also for Pionex, you get yourself some nice juicy discounts and some good deals for signing up. It's the first link. Oh, no, not the first. One of the first links I've got in the description down below as well if you're interested more in that bot trading type of stuff. I'm going to quickly go find it. There we go. Okay, it's a freaking large screen, but usually what it basically has is it has like this deposit reward, meaning if you deposit something, you also get yourself some nice juicy rewards or some other KYC bonuses, etc. You could click through it, right? But basically, always on Pionex, also you get yourself some very, very nice juicy bonuses just for signing up, which you can check out with the link down below. KYC is not mandatory; you don't have to. It's just an option in case you want to, if you want higher limits and stuff. But you don't have to. And the same for Blowfin, the same for WeX. WeX you can use from literally anywhere in the world. If you've got issues, send me a message, right? Go give me a freaking DM somewhere. DM me on Instagram if you want to trade on a platform and it's not working for you. I'll help you out if you're at least a sizable trader. Because one thing we don't want is for people that want to trade to not have the option to. And very soon we're going to be doing something really cool for all the main traders anyway. But yeah, so again, the strategy now for XRP is going to be we open a small position here to basically extend it once the market moves back down. So if the XRP price actually comes back down to maybe like $1 or something like that, we're just going to add to it. Just like we could do here with our XRP bot. What we could do, for example, theoretically speaking, is we could release the profit, right? We could take all of this out and basically reinvest it at current prices. Now, as you can see, even if I take it out, it's still not going to have a liquidation price because I added $180,000. And I can now actually take a lot of this out. If I, for example, take out, let's see. I can now take out 20,000 is not going to do anything. Oh, okay, a little bit. So let's do, can I take a 10,000? No, still not. 9,000. I was going to say, as the market starts moving up, I can actually take out money again and still not be in a wreckage type of position that I can again use to further expand my ventures. So for example, if I just take this out now, let me just show you what it looks like. You can see all it did is change the extra margin from 171,000 to 162. It's because I added a lot because this is the day when the market was so crazy, right? When we saw the massive liquidation event, the 11th of October, or actually the 10th of October, depending on where we're at. This is 12 a.m. And I just added everything just to make sure it could not get wrecked. But right now, I can basically use that 10K again to fund further adventures. For example, right now, with this bot, if I add more margin, let's say I add 13,000, you can see it cannot get liquidated. Even at, I think, 2,000, it basically has no liquidation point. Meaning, if I add more money to this and I just have a little bit of money set aside, I can actually just get the great profits from this all the time without any sort of real bad part to it. Anyway, I wanted to open a couple more. So you guys were saying link should be opened because I don't remember having any link in the bot form anymore. What is the smart parameters? 19. No, we want it to be lower. See the daily. Lowest point I hit in the last wow is like $6.90. So we're going to go a bit lower at, I usually do a percentage base, but let's just do $5.50 at, $5.50 at the bottom, right? In case we see a lower, you know what? We can actually go a bit lower because if we see another lower low for Chainlink in the next couple of months, right? Because we expect the market to move up by November, let's just put $4, really, really playing it safe as the bottom bound. And then the heights, ooh, but that's really far away. I was going to say $27 is super far. We can do it just for the sake of comparison to have the easiest spot ever. And we could just do, oh, this is a spot. Oh, wait, what? Wait a minute. You can now have 1,000? Ooh, we can now have 1,000, but that's too much because it lowers our amount a bit too much. But regardless, we go for 667 here, and we do. How much do we do? We do $1,000 again, just for fun. We open it up. In this case here, the liquidation would be at $6.80, so we're fine. It's about halfway from here. We open it up just for fun right now. I can always change it later. It's just to reap benefits of the link volatility if it were to happen. Again, this is not going to make us rich overnight or anything like that, but hopefully it could just kind of keep cashing out. As you can see right here, for XRP, it's doing like 2 cents a pop, which is done a couple of times already in the past half an hour or so. And for Chainlink, we're not sure yet. We can see somewhere. Quantity per grid is 0.41 link. So yeah, it's only $4 every single trade. So it's not too much, but you know, we'll see as this continues on. All right, we'll see. It's just for fun to have a couple of different things to look at. Are the users hidden in Telegram group? So there's two things. One is a Telegram group, and one is a Telegram. Wait. By the way, guys, what does squabble mean? I've been here since January of 25, but I'm usually drowned out by the squabble. What is squabble? Thanks. Your sound is much better. Okay. Thanks, Dusty. I'm going to message on Insta, but I'm busy working. Yeah. Instagram for now, but later on I'll have a better way so you guys can all send your messages. But this is just to make it as easy as possible to start. Let's see. The squabble is the extra noise and spammers in the chat that comes when things are popping in the market. I do get that, my good sir. I do get that. But that, I guess, is part of the territory, right? Crypto is one of the most hyped up, exciting industries. Does make sense. It's one of those industries where it's all about the excitement of others, really. Like a crypto coin, that's kind of small, I'm talking about, can really just change the entirety of the crypto market. Just a couple or one or two or three coins can change the entirety of the course of the market. And all it would have to take is a couple of degenerates being super excited about it, and they start posting it everywhere, for example. Like, it's actually, funnily enough, possible. XRP, one of the main reasons it did so well, is partially all the partnerships, etc., sure, but also partially just because of the hype they were able to gather around it. And the fact it's one of the most hyped up communities, one of the best communities out there in the entirety of crypto. Like, that does add. That does change. I remember when you ran down the hall and jumped in the pool. Those were fun days, huh? You got to eat, Dusty. Yeah, we're going to eat in a bit. Don't worry about it. We've only been streaming for a couple of hours. Like, what? It's not bad. But the only problem is, like, right now, when you get to this sort of market point, there's really not as much happening no more. Like, we're just mostly waiting for some next uptick or some next move. It's right now consolidating with an upwards bias. So for XRP, for example, you can see that since, in this chart here, 145, it's been slowly but surely moving up, but that's like hours upon hours without any new high being breached. And the high, even here recently, like about an hour ago, did not get breached. And so the real new flow of excitement, it's like an addiction almost, is not yet there. We're like waiting for it. But when you take a look at my bots right now, you can see Link, actually, even for what we just opened, is still holding pretty steady. And what, guys, I want more bots. Which ones do you guys want to see as well? Is there any other coin you'd like to see? I got messages that Hyperliquid just hit a new all-time high. So I guess perhaps, I'm not sure what the all-time high for Hyperliquid actually even is. Is it 78? So the high was $78. Yeah. At least the local high. Was there one before that? No. So $78. And we bought, oh my days, such a long time ago, November. We could have gotten a bit lower, huh? But good enough. Good enough. Nothing really too sassy. Nothing really too sad. Nothing to be sad about there. I even still have a Dogecoin position? What? I forgot about this one. And then the main XRP one, which, by the way, is up, I think, almost $100,000 in the past 3 days. So that's really, no, it's up, I think, $170,000 in the past, like, 3 days or so. Which is really beautiful to watch. We were down so bad on this one. And right now we're still down bad, but not as bad. Like, it's still pretty doable. I agree with the fart bot. So just in 2 years from now, you can shamelessly pull out the hidden fart bot profits. Fart? Was there a fart coin? I forgot. Yeah, there was fart coin. What was that? Do I still have a fart coin bot? No, I don't. Was there a fart coin? I believe there was a fart coin, right? I don't have it anymore, though, or I don't have it. I've forgotten, but I can't remember something about fart coin being exciting in the past. You said do a meme coin BOM? Okay, if there's one meme coin I do not want to touch, it's BOM. Like, that looks like such a bad meme coin. Let's see. If we're taking a look here on Pionex, the most exciting one seems to be Ina. Athena, everybody is trading Athena right now. It's up 50%. Then Hemi, Zora. But still, this is like from large to small, right? We've got Bitcoin first, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, SanDisk. I'm not sure why everybody's trading SanDisk on here. Has that been volatile recently? No, not really. Nothing to write home about. Hyperliquid, of course. SpaceX. Oh, I guess we could also open a SpaceX one. Perhaps. That could be something interesting. I tried to get into Fartcoin early, but the gas fees were too high. I like that. What do you guys think of a SpaceX bot? That could be something interesting. You know what? Let's put $1,000 into it. Let's see how this goes, just for fun. Oh, but liquidation price is 79. Okay, that's not too amazing. You know what? Let's see how this goes. All right. So we open up a little SpaceX bot. I didn't really do any research into it. Let's just open it up, just for fun, to see how that goes. I have absolutely no idea. I've only opened one stock one and did pretty well. What is this? Semiconductor. Yeah, we got Athena again. Athena I can't open right now because up 50%, right? Like that I cannot do. My friends, I love ya, and I love opening bots as much as the next guy. But I can't. SpaceX doesn't make any money yet, so that's a no for me. That's a very sensible, logical deduction, to be honest with you. BNB has actually been one of the best contenders here as well. BNB is so stable, so solid. Like most of the time when there's a massive dump, BNB stays quite stable and quite strong. Okay, you guys are making me kind of opt out of SpaceX. You guys are saying, man, I think it's going to trend towards $75 as former employees, 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗐𝗐. All right, you know what? How much do I need to make this never die? We'll give it a bit of money for right now so I don't have to look at it. This now has a liquidation price of $3. I think it should be fine. It's just for fun. And by the way, I'm putting really low leverage because the market's not so certain yet. Like if we're in a really bullish territory, all these bots, I usually do with 5x and some even 10, but mostly 5, right? But when the market's like in the middle, if you're doing 5x or 10x, the market just shifts against you too quickly. And sometimes it can be just a lot on the mental. So this is not because it doesn't work. It's just that it can be a bit scary if you're doing too much leverage too quickly. But this is just for fun to have something as a kind of like experiment to see how stocks would work and how often it would actually trade. Because it's not so volatile. So I presume that if you're not doing very large sizes, it's not going to be that profitable. Just like how our NVIDIA bot was not profitable at all, really. Like it's up 43% sure, but over a year. And the market is also up like, what, the same amount basically in this entire span. So for some reason, we didn't really benefit off of the trend P&L because of funding. But it's also because I see it's only a $250 bot. So, yeah, but because of funding, we're not able to make this profitable. I guess if it was a spot bot, we'd make this profitable still. But not because of the fees. And with all of these other ones, like the XRP bot, we actually made money off of the funding because of the way in which the market was mostly going down. We made money on having the longs open. But right now, it's going to actually get quite costly. You can see it's costing me in this case here like $25 every 8 or sorry, $12 every 8 hours. You bet how much this freaking XRP position has cost me. I think this has cost me a couple $100,000 to keep open probably. I'm not so sure. But The Fortune says, as much as I enjoy doing manual trading, I think there's just no way to compete with the speed of AI trading bots and bots that have become the only way to I feel safe doing any trading. Yeah, that's why I really love my AI analytics and insights. But for trading, the bot is so much more difficult. And by the way, Solana just keeps on pumping up. Right now, we're back to 92.09. Bitcoin also back to 77.5. We're slowly but surely creeping up. But guys, if you're watching this right now, I'll make sure that we have better systems in place so we can all stay in contact. Like right now, I just have a Telegram alerts group. It's like a group or like a little alerts section. That's basically where I'll share the most important highlights. Whenever something crazy happens, I'll share them there. I'm going to make it a little bit more like a Twitter backup of sorts, where just whenever important things are happening, I'll share them. But also, I want to make sure our Discord is a bit better. So whenever, a stream starts, we can also talk in there. And whenever, whenever, like right now, for example, you guys have questions about your trades and stuff like that, there is a platform we could talk in. But for right now, I'm going to stop the stream. I think we've been going for about 2 and a bit hours, also because it's like it's evening and I've not eaten yet, so I think we should get that done. I'll be back later today probably with another stream or at least some videos. It depends, of course, on what the market does, but I'm going to be here all around. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, especially if you want to learn what we're going to do to make millions of dollars over the next couple of months. Because the fun fact is, I can tell you right now, if this market sets through, you'll see my accounts be up at least, I'm putting up a guess right here, give it 1 year and you'll see it be up at least $5 million in a couple of these fun trades. Just for fun, stay watching. You'll see if we're right or not. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll be talking about some of my most exciting coins soon as well. As long as the market just keeps this up, we could be in such a good position. But that was it for right now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. I'll see you guys again in another one very, very soon. But make sure you join the Telegram. It's the first link. No, it's not. It's one of the first links in the description down below. The Telegram is basically this platform where you can see every single thing that I send without it having to be YouTube, if you get my drift. It's like, this is what it looks like. All right, it's a link down below there.